Hey everybody, welcome to Impossible Coin. I am Brian Cartwright, sitting somewhere in West Texas, deep into the cadence of Hyrule, Rocky Hardy.
Hey, that's me. That's what I'm doing.
And somewhere in the wilds of Ohio, deep into wig business, Tegan Somerset.
Heck yeah, that's me.
Well, guys, we're kind of half talking about we're batting cleanup on E3 and kind of like giving our feels on the conference overall. Something I know I asked Rocky to put a pin in earlier this week was like the idea of the future of E3. So I definitely want to make sure that we talk about that a little bit. But guys, the show officially closed yesterday. How was E3 2019 overall?
I got to see most of it this year.
It was thoroughly okay.
It was like the weirdest sandwich where like all of the good parts are actually the bread.
Well, guys, before we really dig into E3 proper, it feels like it's been a minute since we've caught up.
That's because we recorded like probably 4 shows in a row.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's been like 1,800 hours.
We talked about nothing except games that we don't physically have in our hands. And it was miserable and sad.
I feel that.
Well, shit, y'all. Then let's talk about some games and stuff that we've gotten our paws on, and then we'll dig into E3.
And then we'll harass E3.
Yep, that's what we're going to do. But I want to hear about the hottest game of them all, Wigs.
Snatched. It's been snatched. It's been pilfered. I'm thrilled. I cannot believe. So we had this discussion 3 years ago where I got engaged in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild cosplay. Yeah? Remember that? Remember that.
Yep.
Yes.
We're doing it again! But with new Zelda! Literally as soon as the Nintendo's presentation was over, I went to Twitter and I said, I am 100% serious right now looking for a Zelda Breath of the Wild wig to match her new look. And 2 of my friends who do wig commissions were like, hey. And one of them just gave me a quote, and it's only going to be $89, which is not as much as I thought it was going to be. I was like pricing it out based on other stuff in my head, and I was figuring it was going to be at least like $180. Just because like the base wig that I figured would be the one to be used is already $80. Plus, like, the additional labor and, like, doing the braid and stuff. But no! $89! The hell? Magic!
It's a $9 shipping fee.
Right? She's like, well, she lives in Columbus, so I can just drive down and pick it up. And she was like, yeah, so, like, supplies are gonna be, like, $40. And I'm like, that's it? What magic? It's gonna be so cute! I can't wait. I'm gonna be beautiful.
Shout
I'm
out
gonna
to
be
the
soft
Zelda run
and
back.
beautiful. Now I just need to get Alex's wig restyled, and then we're gonna be unstoppable. I'm doing planks. I've got like, I picked up a bunch of drawers the other day, like that were full of stuff. Well, I had to take the drawers out of the dresser so I could move the dresser, but then I had to pick up the drawers and put them back in, and I did it by myself because I'm strong. I'm not strong. I'm very weak. But I did it by myself without complaining, so that I could get a little bit of arm definition. Ooh, I'm so strong. I'm gonna have a little bit of abs. I got a tiny booty. Zelda only got a tiny booty. She's got those pants that like lift your butt and make it look good.
The riding pants.
Yeah! I'm gonna be so cute. I can't wait. I can't wait to be so cute. I'm so excited. I'm very happy for me. I'm thrilled. I think we're gonna get new photos in the Breath of the Wild 2 outfits, which are mostly the same, except now Zelda's got a fucking cape too that I gotta figure out, and we're gonna use them for our save the dates. It's gonna be fucking great. I can't wait. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm with it.
I know. And then last night, in the middle of the night my time, in the middle of the day their time, my friends online had a whole argument about Legend of Zelda lore, and I'm like, excuse me, we have to do this entire thing again from the top, because I was excluded. That can't happen. I need to be involved. I know all of the lore. I know all of it. And they're like, okay, we'll do it again. But they're going to do it again when I'm asleep again, because they're on the wrong side of the world. That's the problem with having international friends.
I don't know if they can help that.
They can. They can move here.
Oh, God.
Or they can ship me out there. Either one works. I'm fine with that. No, Nico, you're not fine with that. But you would be fine with that if we moved. You'd have to be. You don't get a choice. You can't say any words.
Oh, man. What if like, Nico learns to talk just to object?
If Nico learned to talk just to object, I would take my talking cat to Nintendo and be like, will you put my cat into Animal Crossing? He can actually speak.
Whoa. Wait a goddamn minute here.
That's her first move with the talking cat, dude. It's valid.
Your first move with your talking cat is to monetize it?
No, it's to ask Nintendo to put him in Animal Crossing. I'm
She's
not monetizing it.
So your first move with your talking cat
is to give the rights to my talking cat to Nintendo, yes. But then I get to keep my talking cat, and I can tell him how much I love him, and he can actually respond with, like, sentences that are basically, please stop playing with my tail. That is not what I want you to do right now. And I'll be like, but I love you, and your tail is so soft and fluffy. And he'll be like, no, stop it.
Sounds like a cat to me. What about you, Brian? What's your first move with a talking cat?
I think I want to ask the talking cat what his priorities are.
All right.
How diplomatic of you.
I mean, if the fucker has learned how to talk, obviously the incentive was pretty high, and I don't want him to throw in with Team Rocket.
Okay.
I mean, so really the first move with the talking cat is to become Team Rocket. You control that IP now.
You could actually. You'd be the best.
You have the talking cat.
Look, I got like a $0 hot air balloon budget.
That's okay. Giovanni just gives you money for hot air balloons.
Yeah, but then like the cat could do like a work from home job at that point. You just don't tell anyone it's a cat. Just give it a headset. Let it work customer service. Can't be that hard.
You gotta build it a headset. I don't think they make headsets for cats.
Well, yeah, you get to customize it for the cat, and that that would mess with your budget. But like, sounds doable. I'm just saying that the cat.
Just do a YouTube show. Just do a YouTube.
Can
People think it's like
Giovanni
a CG cat.
making insurance claims?
Wait, Giovanni or like Giovanni's Persian?
Ooh.
Does Giovanni's Persian also sound like he's from like a weird part of New York or whatever?
Actually,
the heck Meowth's accent was.
The weird part is that I don't think we've ever heard the Persian talk. I assume it can, but I don't think we've ever.
Well, I thought that canonically I thought that the Persian didn't talk, and the reason that Meowth talked was that Meowth taught himself to talk because he fell in love, and then the other Meowth rejected him, and so then he threw in with Team Rocket.
Oh
yes,
shit, that is what happened.
canonically accurate.
Fucking
yes.
A. Brian, right here.
Why do you remember that?
I know.
I know why I remember that. Why do you remember that?
Because I was with that fucking cartoon, people.
Yeah, you were on board. You were just like, fuck, he learned to talk to this girl, and then he gets blown off. Well, I guess I turned to a life of crime, too. Like, I don't know, man.
It's not even real crime. It's petty crime.
I'm just glad that he's not some, like, fucking red pill incel now. Like,
oh, fuck. He could have gone that way.
Meowth's a good boy.
Jesus, but those are big red R's on their fucking shirts.
They're rainbow R's now.
Ooh.
True. Shout outs to Team Rainbow Rocket. Like, way to go on that merger and acquisition. Kept their brand recognition at the end of it. And got, like, so many more personnel. So much, like, they are international now, right? essentially.
Yeah, and they're supporting Pride 24/7.
Oh, we have to stand.
If we gotta, I guess we do.
Would it be fair to say that a good game for us to start with today is a game that all three of us have played?
Oh, word?
Is there a game that all three of us have played?
I think so.
It's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I think
Yes!
Cadence of Hyrule, this rhythm game is going to punch your dick in.
Oh, yeah, Dance Dance Zelda Lucian.
Yep.
So who's good at this game?
I'm reluctant to call myself good at this game, but I am almost done.
What? Are you shitting all over both of my testicles right now? You're almost done? It's been out for a day, Rocky.
Yeah, but also, I mean, there's only 4 dungeons. And
I can't even find a dungeon.
I feel that makes some sense.
Where are the dungeons, Rocky?
So I do know there's one for each biome, if that helps. I
figured.
Okay. So if I had to point them out, just trying to remember how the map works in my head, there's one in the northwest corner. It's in the desert. It's where the Gerudos are. There's one that's literally due north, and that's the Temple of Storms. But you need to go to the windmill and wake up those 2 dumbasses who are sleeping in the windmill, because they give you an ability that you need to cross the river to get up to that space. There is the Lost Woods, or there's a swamp in the Lost Woods, and that's where one of the dungeons are in the southeast area of the map. And you should talk to Tingle to help you through the Lost Woods, because he gives you a really useful item that makes navigating the Lost Woods just brain dead easy. Crap, hold on. Oh, and then there's one that's literally due south of Hyrule Castle, which is the Lake Hylia, but it's frozen in the middle into the shape of a temple. It's real weird. But yeah, 4 dungeons. And then you can unlock the other 2 characters that you did not pick at the beginning. Well, I guess you don't pick Cadence. You just find her later. But you then wake up Link wherever Link is, or you wake up Zelda wherever she is. And then you can go back and, kick in the front door and, kick this dumbass out of your castle. And that's cool.
Wait, so I have to play this whole fucking game of Zelda?
No. So, if you go northwest first, right, you'll find where Cadence is hiding out. And Cadence will literally join your party. And, the Sheikah stones where you, save your progress and make, a teleportable place, you can switch characters there.
Oh, okay.
And you can go get Link. Link is in Kakariko Village, which is southwest of Hyrule Castle. And you just need to go into the crypt to get the potion that you'd use to wake up Link. I started with Zelda too.
Okay.
But Zelda shit is dope. The Nairu's I think it's just Nairu's shield. Nairu's love? Whatever.
Yeah, Nairu's love.
That ability is just fucking sick. It saves me so much time. Link and Cadence both get access to a shield. I actually found a tower shield for Cadence to use. And that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. So yeah, I just gotta, but I got the 4 instruments, and they are 4 pretty obscure band instruments. I'm kind of happy with their choices. Although
I don't want to know what they are, but I also want to know what they are.
I promise I won't tell you, but they're just about as offbeat as an ocarina is.
Is one of them a kalimba?
No.
Then fuck it.
I'm telling you, I think you're gonna be happy with 3 of the 4. I think one is pretty obvious. It's it's a little offbeat, but not really unpredictable. It's kind of something simple you had to use. There is an instrument that you do get that isn't one of the boss ones, that is just a lute, and that's useful once you get it, because it lets you teleport in between.
I do have the lute.
Okay, that's cool.
I do have the lute. I'm just bad.
It's a weird thing to do, the whole fight system, and memorizing patterns. While they are kind of simple, they are annoying to react to over time. what I did pretty quickly is I went northwest because I was fucking around in the desert, and there is a fairy fountain where you can use diamonds to buy a permanent upgrade on one of your weapons. And
what happens when you lose that weapon?
Oh, you don't. That's the thing. So, like, there are weapons that can break if you get in the overworld, but, like, where you die and, like, resurrect and you can buy stuff, you can buy permanent weapons there. Like, I bought a broadsword, and I just have it forever.
Oh, okay.
And I took that broadsword to the fairy fountain, and I had the fairy upgrade it to a ruby broadsword, which, like, gives me lifesteal. Like, I have to kill 5 things before I get it, but, like, that's pretty good. And then later on, when I got a bit more confident with the fighting and, like, acknowledging some of the patterns, I changed out my ruby broadsword for a titanium broadsword, which just gives me double damage. So, like, every slash does, like, 2 hearts, and I can hit stuff around corners. And, like, most of the hazards in the game have some item that's available in the overworld that can allow you to negate them. I actually kicked myself because there's a lava level, and after I beat the lava level, I found an item that makes me immune to lava and hot coals, which would have been great to have, but it's whatever. But how are you guys doing? How is your Cadence of Hyrule experience?
We're both on dumb level.
Yup.
Which means, we're not moving to the beat. We're moving whenever the fuck we want.
Oh, did you turn off the thing?
The thing suggested that I turn it off.
Yeah, it did that to me too. Like, it just does it after you die, like, twice or whatever. Or, like, you miss, like, two beats in a row, I think.
My thing was just like, do you want to turn it off? And I was like, no. And then I was like, yeah, I do. This is dumb. I have no rhythm in my hands. I only have rhythm in my feet.
Okay.
So, like, I can't click in the right time. And they're like, do you need to change the latency? And I'm like, no, I need to just walk around like a real human.
Oh, fuck. I actually messed up because, like, I didn't get to calibrate my latency, so I just kept the default. Like, and I was just like, damn it, this is ridiculous.
What do you mean you didn't? What do you mean you didn't calibrate your latency?
So I was in a rush when I first started, and I actually I ended up having to play with, like, one Joy-Con because my left Joy-Con's, like, fucked. Like, the stick is just, like, it floats up, and, like, sideways it'd float left. So I needed to calibrate my right Joy-Con, and so, like, while I was doing that, like, the initial cutscene was going, and when I actually connected the right Joy-Con properly, I just mashed A and I went straight through, like, the calibration phase. So, like, it just left the default. Oh. So I didn't get to do it. I guess I can do it, but, like, at this point, I don't know. I'm almost
At
done.
this point, you've calibrated.
Yeah.
You're the one who's been calibrated.
Oh, man. So there are some pretty cool puzzles that they do with, like, the beats and stuff. Like, I know Tingle's puzzle is, like, beat related. And,
Brian, have you found Tingle yet?
I have not.
Brian, how far have you ventured out into the world?
I think I'm fixing to fuck with my first dungeon.
Sick.
I ventured east and then pushed north along the shore, and then doubled back west into the forest.
Okay, so you're pretty close to the Lost Woods, if not already in them. Yeah, I know, like, I think it's on that screen. Like, there's the first screen of the Lost Woods, there's just, like, 12 bokoblins, like, on screen. And you can clear them or not. It doesn't really matter. But there is, like, a hovel that you can go into, and Tingle's just dead-ass asleep in it. There's also a Deku Scrub, and then there's, like, a slight puzzle that they'll have you do. I'm not sure how you'll do it without it, like, sync to the beat, because, like, it was a beat-related puzzle. They have you play... I think it actually is Saria's song, at least like the first like 15 beats or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then like once you actually get it, Tingle wakes up and he gets pissed off that you woke him up, and then he gives you like an item that basically allows you to guide yourself through the Lost Woods.
I really didn't realize or expect before I got into this game properly just how strong it was going to give me Minish Cap vibes.
I feel that. It has that kind of like art style.
Yeah.
I get a strong.
No, it does not. It does
What?
not. It
What do
does
you
not
mean?
look anything like Minish Cap. What are you talking about?
It has like the round like stuff. Like everything's like really round and like shaded like in GBA textures.
Everything's round. Wow. Just because it's round doesn't mean it looks like Minish Cap.
Okay. I'm pulling up an image of Minish Cap.
Like, it's definitely sprite art, and it's definitely got, like, it's colored in ways that are similar, like, evocative of Minish Cap, but is not like Minish Cap. Is not Minish Cap.
I don't think it feels like Minish Cap, but
Vadi's in it, though. Right? Vadi's like an evil composer or some shit.
And Minish Cap?
No, in this one!
No, it's like Octavio or whatever. Octavo?
He looks like Vadi.
He does look like Vadi. He does look a bit
He's like Vadi's wavy-haired brother. Vadi's such a good bean. I miss Vadi. Can we have Vadi back as a villain and a hero?
As a hero?
Yeah! Minish Vadi's good. Just Wind Sorcerer Vadi is bad.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think I actually killed someone that looks like Minish Vadi. For being honest.
Rude.
Well, hey, like, I needed Link. Like, I need to wake that dumbass up. And, like, he was in my way. He was holding the thing I needed.
Why is Link always asleep?
Well, in his defense, Zelda was also asleep at the beginning of this adventure. Like, they both are awakened and, like, in their beds.
So I'm the only one who picked Link.
Yeah, you're the only one who picked Link.
Yeah, I guess.
So how is Link?
He's fucking Link. I don't know.
Do you get a beam slash?
Huh?
Do you have a beam slash?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, more than 2 heart containers?
I do.
Oh, that's also, like, when I was dying early, the first thing I did was just stack heart containers. I think I didn't get to my first dungeon until I had 5 hearts and the ruby broadsword.
I just want to use the spear the whole time.
Spear's pretty good. I assume you should be able to buy one in that section, but I never have yet. Like, once I got the broadsword and started making progress, most of the stuff that kept popping up were, like, specialty rings and, like, bombs and bomb shoes.
Huh.
But I assume it's in there. Like, it'd be weird if it wasn't. But the spear's also kind of busted. Like, it's super fucking strong. Oh my god.
I just like that I can hit everything one space away.
You can get a rapier in one of the dungeons that lets you do the same thing.
A what?
A rapier?
A what?
Or a rapier, I guess?
Rapier.
A rapier.
Okay. I learned that from video games. Someone said it out loud. It's like a encyclopedia.
Rapier sounds so cool, though.
Right?
It does.
It
sounds more, like, refined, somehow.
I'm gonna keep saying it my way. But you can strike stuff from, like, 1 square away, but you can also, like, dash and, like, thrust, and it does double damage. And that's at its base form. So you could, like, coat in titanium and then do 2 damage from, like, 1 space away, and then dash and do 3. I think I got that in the lava dungeon. But But I feel like this game, it's obviously a lot smaller for, I think, pretty good reason, but it feels like OG Zelda, like The Legend of Zelda, like reimagined in this like this musical like bouncing mechanic. And I really like how pretty much every screen, there are like very few exceptions, but pretty much every screen has a secret for you to explore at the end of it. And the game rewards you for clearing a screen by giving you a diamond, which is the currency that you use to like buy upgrades in various places. Like, I really like that. I think like the loop is very clean on this game.
Yeah. I feel like that, like the sensation of feeling turned loose and just being like, all right, fine, fuck it, go wherever, dude. Is definitely very evocative of Legend of Zelda and in turn Breath of the Wild, which is kind of like wild because it makes me wonder if that means that like there's internal direction at Nintendo that like even 2D Zelda games are now going to follow that like just turn the player loose formula again.
I'd be really happy about that because I think that's one of the stronger like feelings of Zelda, like the sense of like exploration and like getting into your own hijinks. Like, I found fire arrows and I had no idea when I was supposed to, but I definitely did, and I was really happy like when I just like stumbled upon them. Like, it wasn't something that like anything guided me to. I was just like digging in hovels and like, oh shit, I got fire arrows now, let's go. Or like dungeons have like certain like there are items that you get like per dungeon, like it'll give you like a weapon upgrade, but it's not really lock and key like how a lot of older Zelda games are. Like they're all like items that are beneficial, but there's definitely some measure of overlap. But like you can get, basically there's like 3 items. Like at first it says you can pick from one of these 3 items, and then the next dungeon you get through is like, okay, so now you can pick one of the 2 items that you didn't pick before, and then like later on you can pick up the last one, and then like you can upgrade them as well. And like that's pretty cool. I don't know if you get like upgrades for each of them, but I know I've upgraded at least one. So I think this game is like, because of its like size, is probably designed to be a bit more run based than it is like I finished, now I'm done.
Well, the first thing I noticed when I hit pause was seeing a running time counter in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. It said like run time, and it was showing the time to the millisecond.
Is that what that is?
Did you skip over to the right, to like the rightmost screen?
Are you talking to me or her?
Either of you.
In the pause menu?
Yes.
Yeah, there appeared to be some finer options, which included some speedrunning stuff.
Yeah.
Wait. I don't know that I've seen the pause menu. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've properly paused. I just opened my bag when I want to pause.
Yeah.
Is there a way to, like, pause?
Yeah, when you pause, like, the game stops moving around you. Or rather, like, when you open your bag and, like, you're able to, like, switch out items, the game stops moving around you. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Then, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. And
but
like,
I have not looked very closely at either of those screens. I'm just like, alright, I just need a second pause. And I walk away.
Because, like, I know on the rightmost, there's, like, a leaderboard, apparently. And
wait, I can switch out items?
Yeah.
What? Hang on, I gotta go get my Switch.
Tegan.
What?
You do not need to do this right now.
Oh, but I want to explore.
Well, yeah, there's time for that.
Guess I'll do it later. Fine, Dad.
Oh man, but I like it. I think I'm gonna try a Link run. I hope like New Game Plus gives me like a straight up cadence option, but I don't know what Cadence. I don't really know the difference between Cadence and say Link.
Cadence is a girl. She's not Hylian.
Tegan.
What? You said the words. I don't know the difference between Cadence and Link.
Yeah, but given the context, I'm talking about like the gameplay experience of playing as Cadence.
That's fair.
I do know there's like a handful of weapons that you're able to choose. Brian, I'm assuming that Link starts with a longsword.
Yep.
Okay, because Zelda starts with a dagger. And I'm assuming they're functionally the same unless Link's attacks differently than just the space directly in front of him.
It is definitely the space directly in front of him.
Okay. Because the weapons that I've seen so far, I've seen dagger, rapier, broadsword, lance, and flail, which has an interesting attack pattern. But I think that's all 5 slots. I'm pretty sure because they're on the right side of like the item screen. Unless there are other items that are available. Maybe there will be, but who knows. But yeah, it's Cadence Fiber, I guess.
It appears to be that you have played other video games.
I have. So I saw the Chris Tales demo from the PC gaming show, and I was big excited, and I wanted to play it. And then I found out there was a demo, so I downloaded it on Steam, and I played the shit out of that demo, and it's cool. Like, it's standard, it's RPG combat, but it's interactive, very much like Paper Mario. So, like, when things attack you, you have the ability to, like, press an action command to reduce damage, and when you attack things, you can press for an action command to deal additional damage. It's like 2/3 of your damage, or half. And then the Pro Tag has a unique ability, which is the ability to like see the past and the future, which appear to be like in 10-year intervals. And there's like unique problems that you need to solve. Like there's an apothecary that loses the labels to her mushrooms, and like one of them's clearly Death Cap, but she has no idea which one it is. So like you're able, with the help of your animal companion, to like look at the past and identify which jar was which, because they haven't moved apparently in 10 years because like of how much like she appreciated her father's filing system, I guess. And so then you're able to come back to the present and get that fixed. Or like at one point you need to make a particular elixir. So like you go to a place where you planted a seed, and then you go 10 years into the future where that tree has produced fruit, and then you have your animal companion go and fetch the fruit and bring it to the present, which is apparently a thing it can do. And then you do like a combat sequence, well, like a continuation of the first combat sequence, and you're able to basically fight things in the past and the future. So you're like fighting a goblin in the past when it's like small and like weaker, and then like your sword attacks hit harder, and then like you're able to fight something in the future where it's like older and like slower, so it's like less likely to avoid your attacks and like deals less damage to you because it's not as strong as it used to be. And then like you fight a pair of twins that are like you're unable to damage altogether, but basically you like throw water on them, and because of like the sword that you're given, you're able to interact with them in the future, but also in the present at the same time. So when you attack the future version with like a rusted shield that you can actually damage, that damage reflects on the present self. They haven't explained that at all, but it seems neat. And like the game is like real like storybook. It's bright and colorful with like very good details, and like the characters are visually strong. Even the story isn't incredible at the moment, but like I'm down to fuck with this game. I'd love to play Fantasy Paper Mario. Like, please give it to me. But we'll get there when we get there.
I think I'm down for this game. Like, I'm really taken by the art style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. it feels like a lot of games that kind of want to mechanically play homage to JRPGs generally feel trapped or obliged to very, very closely follow the art style. So it's nice to see something that feels very different.
Okay.
It feels very modern artistically, like very minimalist.
It does feel that way. I really like some of the things, like the pro tag when she like gets her sword or whatever. I think she like ages up somehow, but it's not really explained. But she gets like this hairband with spikes on it that looks really cool. And like she comes across like a male companion who fights with a shield that looks like it's like grilled in something like like it has a grill over it that looks like it's like made of like mithril or something, like it's like that color. And like when he attacks, he like splits the shield in two and like fights with them as like arm like attached blades. And I just think that's like a really neat idea for like a character and like their fighting style. Like, I don't know. I'm really interested in seeing what this game ultimately does.
Well, it's definitely one to keep track of. That's Modus putting it out, right?
Yeah, it is Modus. Same people.
Cool.
I've been playing a lot of auto chess. Not Dota auto chess, because I'm not going to download Dota. Like, it's just a brand thing, I guess. But auto chess put out their own like app. It's on PC and mobile, and it's essentially the same game. And I've been fucking with it, and it's neat. It's probably the closest thing I'll get to like playing an actual clicker. But instead of like, I guess like clicking for like random effects, like you like set up your pieces and you let them go. And so your decisions are about like initial placement and like what pieces are on the board. And that's pretty interesting. It's one thing that I'm not especially happy with is that the runtime is still pretty long and there's no real way to get around it. Like a single game of auto chess is still about a half hour, like much like Dota or like League of Legends. But it is like, I don't think I'd call it satisfying, but it like when I finish a game, all I really want to do is start another game, and that game that kind of goes on like ad infinitum, and like you don't have to like win auto chess to get anything out of it. You just need to be like top 4 of like 8. So like the game definitely rewards you for that time spent, unless you get blown up pretty early. In that case, you just like you jump back in, I guess, and it does some really interesting things where like you're fighting consecutive matches, and like when you obviously get like an advantage for continuously winning, but you also get an advantage for like continuously losing. So like if you lose 2 or more matches in a row, like you get a bonus, like kind of like a catch-up bonus for like the goal that you have. And so it's shaping a meta in which you either get ahead early and stay ahead, or if you start like losing, it's better to just like take a couple of losses in a row to like build up your like reservoir of cash faster so that you can go for a big push later on in the game, which is interesting to me. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm still feeling it out, but I'm enjoying my time with it.
So I got to tell you, like, there is a pretty significant overlap in the Hearthstone community and the auto chess community.
Mm-hmm.
I've been tempted, man. I've had the App Store open on my phone. I've looked. I'm like, man.
Well, I mean, it's a free app, and like you don't have to pay for pieces, like because they're just auto-generated. The only thing that you could conceivably spend money on is like emotes and like icons. Like that's it. So like outside of that, it's just a time commitment. Like if you want to sit down and mess with this game, apparently there's like you can play with like teams somehow, which I don't understand how that's balanced. But if you did want to mess with it, I'm around.
Do you know if these auto chess games out there support cross-platform play? Can I, sitting here on my iOS phone, auto chess the Android people?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because, I mean, I've played with PC players already. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that tracks. That checks out. I have played the video games.
You played some video games this week?
I played the video games. First of all, our long crisis is over. The disk drive is not broken on my Xbox.
What was the issue?
I think the issue was too much general cat garbage near the Xbox. I think there was some cat hair that got sucked in by the fan.
Do you not, like, blow your system out regularly?
Apparently not regularly enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, like, Tegan, I'm not sure, like, are either of your gentlemen's very furry, long-haired gentlemen's?
Yes, one of my gentlemen's is a very furry, long-haired gentleman, and the other one is a short-haired gentleman.
Okay. I am sure that, like... Alright, which one is the long-haired gentleman?
Roman.
Okay. Well, I'm sure
The
that you know
regal
that when
one.
Roman decides to touch a thing, that, like...
There's just fur. It's just like there's another cat right there.
Yeah. And, like, when he moves on, it's like he leaves a cat behind.
Yeah, like half a cat easily.
Right.
More like around now because he's shedding really bad.
Right. And so, Gogo, the furry cat, one of her favorite things to do is on the spot on the entertainment center, right in front of the television. She likes to climb up and sit on top of it. It's a habit she formed when Super Mario Maker 1 came out, because she would like to sit on the ledge in front of the TV and then watch the jumping Mario. She never gave it up, and we struggled to dissuade her because we thought that Gogo watching Mario was too cute.
Oh no.
Well, I have reaped what I sowed, and allowing her to sit there meant that, like, she essentially left half a Go-Go behind that I had to, like, blast off the Xbox. At which point my Xbox was like, alright, yeah, you want me to read a disc? Let's fucking do this thing. You know, like, I'm here. So that meant that I finally got to dig into a Plague Tale, in a sense. Hey, guys, you know what's a real good video game that, like, nobody bought?
Is it a Plague Tale Innocence?
It's a Plague Tale Innocence.
Damn, no one really bought that game? It looked good.
It is suffering from Q2 came and went syndrome.
Damn, tragic.
Yeah, because, like, you know, people know that that video games' big quarters are Q4 and Q1. And so when you put something out in Q2, you either need to have a massive, massive marketing budget, or you need to get some, like, absolutely astronomical, like, ridiculous word of mouth, and be cheap enough that that word of mouth will allow people to decide to buy it on a whim. Word of mouth has, like, less mileage these days for $60 boxed retail games. But I kept on hearing really good things. Like, this is a really fucking fantastic game. This is one of the best games to come out so far this year. And I heard that the story was really good, and that the writing is really good, and that all the character performances are fantastic. And that it's just beautiful. And boot it up, and sure enough, everybody, that's all true. So, who here has got some experience with The Last of Us?
Not I.
Okay.
Nah, I fucked with it.
Okay. So, you are familiar with the general conceit of a older protagonist and then a younger AI-controlled character who you can give limited direction to, sneaking through a world where roughly 90 to 95% of all NPCs want to murder the characters.
Yeah.
Okay. Now make the game filled with fucking rats, and set it during the bubonic plague, and make your player character like a teenage girl.
All right, so it's like Dishonored 2X The Last of Us.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna go with it.
Sick.
Okay. So your character, Amicia, has this kind of like dissatisfied, distant relationship with her parents. Her dad is always busy because he's running the estate, and her little brother Hugo has been like sick his whole life, and so her mother spends like tons and tons of time like taking care of Hugo, and so like she's felt like very distant from her parents. And in the course of the beginning of the game, the Inquisition like busts into the estate and like kills Amicia's parents like in front of her, and so she has to run off with Hugo to protect him. They are there because they blame her family for the spread of the plague in the local village.
Wow.
And Hugo is, at this point, it's not entirely clear in story whether Hugo is just immune to the plague or whether he is also immune to it and a carrier. But the family has never gotten sick from Hugo. So like they absolutely just like eviscerate this girl's world, and like in just the first hour of the game, like when they're just like, okay, let's set the table for you. So when they do all the setting the table shit, they're like, we're gonna kill the mom, we're gonna kill the dad, we're gonna kill their fucking dog, like, and so like by the time they threw you out into the world, shit is just popping off, and you're like, someone please just get this girl a place to sit a spell because things are rough. Lots of really, really good stealth. I'm so used to at this point, like, vision cones that are either like drastically unfair or like sound meters for characters' awareness that have exactly two settings, which are like can't hear shit and totally fucked.
Right.
One of the things that I did in the game that felt good was Amicia's slingshot makes a fair amount of noise when she pulls back the slingshot. So what I was doing was I would come up on characters that I knew that I needed to get around or distract. And so I would back away from them so that way the sound of pulling back my sling wouldn't be heard, and discovered that like the cone of AI awareness for where they look for the source of a sound, definitely based on like how strong the sound is. Like they might hear something and just like if it's indistinct enough or quiet enough, just register that the sound exists, but not go investigate it because they believe it's further away or they can't quite tell. So like giving characters reaction subtlety to sound is like a hard thing to do in a video game. So I like that. Also, the stuff that they do with like environmental puzzle solving with Amicia and Hugo is all very, very good. There are lots of like little areas which are, you know, too small for Amicia to crawl through. So like either Hugo can lift it under or go underneath, and then there's like, you know, coordinating the direction of the moving of objects that she can't touch, but he can, you know, that kind of thing. Their walk and talk dialogue as brother and sister, very, very good. And
is it good like cute, or is it good like
heartstrings
realistic?
and feels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's a moment which comes, I think, after the first boss fight. So after the first chapter of the game, the second chapter of the game is you escaping from town. And like Amicia and Hugo haven't been into the town in like quite some time because of the plague.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they get into town, like the town is like mostly abandoned, and they're seeing all these like houses which have like white X's painted on the door, and they finally come to the town square where people are burning a woman, and there's this amazing sequence which is like
dead, right?
Oh,
they're burning a dead woman, right?
She dead now.
Brian! They're not burning a woman while she's alive.
Well, we didn't really see it happen, but we were led to believe that they burned her alive.
No! Let them die first, Jesus.
Well, you know what, Tegan? They weren't giving out, like, J.D. Power Associates Awards for Civility in 1348. They just weren't. I don't think they're even giving them out now. I'm pretty sure that award doesn't exist. So, the whole sequence, that whole chapter of the game is like a combination of, like, reaction running through the streets away from the mob, going into areas that you initially think are blind alleys in order to solve puzzles, to keep on moving forward. And then, like, just at this point where you're like, oh god, like, this is so high stress and this is so, like, exhausting. You come to this woman who's, like, sympathetic to you, and she, like, lets you into her house, and this is where I'm talking about, like, the heartstrings. This is the moment, because, like, Amicia has not... Hugo wasn't there when the parents died. Only Amicia was. And so, this is the moment where, like, she gets angry, because, you know, she's a teenager who's just lost everything, and, like, Hugo's like, and, you know, like, I want my mom.
And she's just like, we don't have a mom anymore.
And she's like, our parents are fucking dead, you know? Like, she just, like, lowers the boom on Hugo. And, like, it absolutely just, like, eviscerates you with how well it's done. And they use that moment. Like, that moment is positioned only, like, 5 or 10 minutes before the game's first boss fight. So, like, after the game, like, gores you emotionally, now it's like, I now have a boss fight. So, really good structure. The puzzles are good. The rats are fucking everywhere. 10 out of 10. Lots of rats. The upgrade paths for your equipment are very, very satisfying. So it definitely feels like if you're looking for a mostly linear, story-driven adventure game with a bunch of really good characters and a really well-drawn world where everything just seems to fit together and make sense. Like, strong reco. Also, I don't get the sense as I'm playing it, and I'll probably know more next week and I can report back in. I don't get the sense that this game is 900 hours long. I'm feeling that, like, I'm going to be in here like 8 to 10 hours, which is, of course, a huge selling point for me, but your mileage may vary. Also, I got back into Baba Is You. That game still owns me and makes me its bitch. Baba Is You and Brian Is Stupid. Like, I spent, like, since I guess the last time we recorded, maybe 4 hours in Baba Is You and solved maybe one puzzle per hour.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like, it definitely becomes a grind, you know, once you get deeper into the game. Where you're just like, Jesus Christ, these fucking puzzles.
Baba is you, but you is a dumbass.
Yep, yeah. Dumbass is you. So, also started playing The Outer Wilds. And part of the reason I'm jumping into The Outer Wilds is that I went ahead and converted my Xbox Live Gold membership to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. which was like incredibly easy to do. And what they do is they just like, for the duration of your remaining Xbox Live Gold membership, that whole time just converts to Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And then the first month after, whenever your gold would have run out, that first month after it would run out will be charged as $1. And then after that, you convert to the Game Pass Ultimate price.
That's real nice of them.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Very much so. The first thing that was kind of surprising is like anything that I already had installed on my hard drive that was disk-based, that is currently on Game Pass Ultimate. It's just like, hey, dude, you don't need to put in that disk anymore. We see that you have this installed. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Which was nice and just like an added measure of convenience. And so I went ahead and I downloaded like three hot indies du jour, 3 things that have come out within like the last month that are in 2 out of 3 cases within the last 2 weeks that are getting like an enormous amount of positive buzz. I downloaded The Outer Wilds, Void Bastards, and Riverbond. Because they all just came out and they're all on Game Pass Ultimate. They've all got good buzz. So The Outer Wilds is kind of like if what how to describe this? It's kind of like if what No Man's Sky had been out of the box, focusing on a bespoke story experience. I know it's kind of like a weird way to describe it. Like, I think a lot of people were like telling themselves and fantasizing that like what No Man's Sky would offer is like a, you know, bespoke handcrafted universe when they were out there saying constantly like it's procedural. But
they were like, no, it's not. You're just saying that.
Right.
And it's like, but we are also the people who made this game.
I know you say you made it, but my heart made it.
No.
So like The Outer Wilds, you are like this little astronaut alien dude who grew up in this crater, and your species has kind of like this like cool retro future tech, where like your spaceship has got like lots of brass and wood fixtures on it.
Okay. Do you mean steampunk?
It definitely isn't steampunk. Like it's not all coppers and goggles.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you know, like there's not a top hat to be found, Tegan. Especially no tiny top hats.
Oh, those are the best top hats. They're so small.
Yeah.
They're doing their best.
But this world is like is populated by a spacefaring species. They haven't achieved interstellar travel, but they've achieved like travel within their own solar system. So that's like not particularly any big whoop. And so like the game opens with like your first trip in like a spaceship. And you're kind of introduced to the idea that like your species is kind of like doing this archaeology and this research into like a precursor race that used to occupy the solar system. Like there's a dig on another part of your planet. And so when you take off, you can start to like journey around the solar system. And one of the things that's cool is that like every other active member of this planet, which is currently, posted out in space or is exploring space, every one of them has a different musical instrument. And so you can like turn on like your deep space signal finder and like keep on tuning it and like adjusting the trajectory of your ship until you come across the sound of like an instrument, and then like target toward it and pilot toward the sound. One of the coolest moments I had in the game came pretty early, and it was a total accident. I launched my ship, and I fucked up my first launch by launching in a weird trajectory. Because I'm like spinning backwards once I've escaped the planet's atmosphere. I get up my little thing, to listen for a signal.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that I got out my signal finder at the perfect nexus point of all of the different instruments from all of the different spacefarers. So when I pulled it out, I could hear the song that they're all playing together, because they're all playing a different instrument in the same song. And normally you can only hear like an instrument at a time, but I was like at the point in space where you could hear all of them. I got an achievement to pop for. It's like the you heard the whole damn song achievement. 1.4% of players have this. I'm like, well, that was a nice thing to get completely by accident.
Hi, I fucked up my first launch, and now I've heard the secret of the universe.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
That's cool.
So, like, the first thing I did was I went to my planet's moon, and, like, the guy who, like, lives on the moon is pretty cool. He talks about how, like, the other spacefarers are, like, deeper into the solar system, and because the moon is old news, the folks who live on the planet don't generally come up to visit him. And so he's, like, he's kind of lonely, and he's trying to invent excuses for you to, like, stay and not leave the moon. And it's, like, sad and cute, and he's like sitting on his like front porch. He's like, "Hey, why don't you stay a spell?" And then after that, I tried to go to this planet called Giant's Deep, which is this big gas giant, which then, as you descend through the gas atmosphere, has liquid covering the entire surface of the planet before you get to a solid core. But on my way to Giant's Deep, I fucked up and blew up my ship and killed myself, which is when I discovered that the game is a time loop. My character had awareness of my own death when I respawned. I didn't have to go get the launch codes from the observatory. I already knew what the launch codes were because I was aware that I had died. And everything that I had done up to that point flashed before my eyes in the moment right before I respawned. And I had slightly different dialogue with some characters because of the awareness of the death. And on my second futz around the solar system, I was alive long enough to see the sun explode and discovered that, like, whether or not I had died trying to get to Giant's Deep before, I would have eventually died anyway, because you always encounter a loop with the explosion of the sun. And it appears to be that the precursor race, which my species has been researching, is controlling the time loop. So, like, I'm exploring all of these different planets and trying to, like, solve the mystery of why I am exposed to this time loop and figure out if there's any way to, like, save my species. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Really good looking game, too.
Sounds cool.
Is there a time loop?
Yeah.
2019's the year of time loops. That's where we're at.
The year of time loops and Keanu Reeves!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I played was River Bond. Which is...
Did you bond with a river?
It is not about bonding with a river.
Was James Bond in a river?
No.
Damn it. What's
You
it
were not.
about?
Bonded with the river?
Is the river actually a euphemism?
No.
Aww.
So,
Damn it.
This is kind of a... I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe it. It's like a very super stripped down, edges smoothed off, drop in, drop out co-op, dungeon run foolishness thing.
Oh, geez.
So it's like, okay, here's this incredibly cute voxel art, cute world, and please push your way through like these, like one of 8 different dungeon campaigns, and hunt for increasingly better loot, and get stuff to like buy new skins for your characters. Lots of like indie reference skins. I picked up a the boy from Bastion skin.
Does he look like a prick?
No.
Does he look like an in-betweener?
No, he looks like a little voxel dude.
What's a voxel?
You know what the Minecraft looks like?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a voxel.
Why is it called a voxel?
I do not know the etymology of the word. I'm sorry.
How dare.
I will turn to my video games card.
Video games are canceled.
Video games are canceled.
Guys,
so, like,
please.
overall, like, it's kind of like, it sits somewhere between feeling like Diablo on console and Castle Crashers. Very light, very breezy. The combat is not especially challenging. It appears to be designed to be a bullshit around and fuck with your friends game. So, I don't know if Xbox Game Pass is on the make or in the cards at the Somerset Estate. But if so, I will be happy to river bond with you.
Xbox Game Pass was long ago purchased at the Somerset Estate.
Well, then
Like,
yay.
Soon as it was announced, it was purchased.
We should fucking river bond. It's a good time.
Running out of cool stuff to call my place. Do I have to get like a castle or some shit? Fuck.
You could just have a house, like an HAUS.
Yeah, like a fucking like pleb.
Well, High Castle Hardy, man.
Well, maybe I'll get a castle, but like, there's already the Somerset Estate and like the Cartwright Ranch, and then just some jackass with a house, I guess.
No, like an HAUS, like a fancy eatery.
Oh fuck, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
I'll work on that.
like a fancy German eatery.
The Hottie House.
Yeah, the Hottie House. Oh my god, I love it. Wait, no, that's good. Wait, no, that's the best thing.
Okay, we did it. Shoutouts.
Tegan broke herself.
I what? I what myself?
You broke yourself.
I did, yeah, I did. I forgot. I forgot that everything existed for a second. And apparently I can't spell your name, so fuck it.
No, it's cool. Like, I'll live.
Dab.
Oh man.
So do we want to get into E3 team?
Wait, hold on. Tiles is actually pretty cool. I know
What's
that
Tiles?
the New York Times is trying to like find the next big game thing. They've actually been spending some time on game dev. They're trying to make like a sort of experiential puzzle type of thing to like pair along with the New York crossword. And they put out a couple of games, and a lot of them are just like, you know, other word games, which seems like really in the box. But Tiles is like this really like zen, like sort of matching game where like you have like unique patterns of like colors and like squares, and you match like you basically like match until they all clear out and whatnot.
And it's just called Tiles?
Yeah, it's just called Tiles.
Continue.
And it's like the idea is that like you just sit down, and the versions I've been playing, because like you can play like 4 for free a day, and then you have to actually subscribe to the New York crossword or New York Times, so like you could play like infinitely and play like infinitely complex puzzles. And you'll have like a design on top of an overlay on top of a background color. And then you just like match like the pairs together and you can string them together into like combos. But there isn't a win condition or a lose condition. And much like the New York crossword, instead of like trying to like win, you're just trying to like, finish.
So,
and like there are
all right, question.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking at a screenshot of this,
mm-hmm.
and I can't even remotely conceive of like how. Okay, walk me through this again. Like, because I'm looking at the screenshot and it just looks like a quilt is hate fucking my eyes.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's how that starts, yeah. But like the idea, like you should actually just do it. Just go to like New York Times because you play, 4 free a day. Like it doesn't matter. And like, so there's like 3 layers, right? Like there's like an outline or a background color and a like central level and then like an accent on top of it. And sometimes the colors are pretty similar and sometimes they're not. But the idea is that when you point out a similarity, you match them together and then those disappear, which will either make other colors like more poignant or like more hidden depending on what you're dealing with. And your goal is to ultimately clear out the whole thing. But the thing is that, like, let's say you found like 2 squares that are literally identical, like all 3 parts are the same on both, then they'll completely disappear. But if, like, say the foreground and the background are the same, have the same pattern as whatever you just touched, then those 2 will disappear, but the middle will remain. And like the way it's designed is that every piece or every like section of like the trio has an even number across the board, so it'll always cancel out to match. So they appear to be like procedurally generated. It's not bespoke, but they.
So are you just matching the color, or?
Yeah, at first, but like within like New York Times, they have like patterns in addition to colors, and so like it adds another level of complexity. And like you have patterns that are oriented in particular ways as well. So like it's still basically like a quilt. You're just matching the pieces together, but it's like much like the New York crossword. It's like a light brain teaser that you get to like kind of zone out and in like play throughout the day or whatever. So it's not particularly meant to be like addictive or anything. It's just like sort of like a decompression activity, sort of like like a rock garden or something. I don't know. I've been messing with it the past couple of days. I think it's neat, but I'm not gonna say that it's like a must play game. But if you're looking to chill out, like it might be something you might want to fuck with.
I keep on clicking these tiles,
and
it keeps on telling me, "You're fucking trash. Just go read Marmaduke."
Yeah, you're garbage.
Fuck. Rip Brian, I guess.
Yeah.
Brian's bad at games.
Just like, look, man, that dog is clearly too big for that couch, and this is not for you.
Oh man, I know some of the colors like are pretty similar. I know there's like a magenta and like a fuchsia that are like nearly identical unless you look really hard at them. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, like it's like I'm sitting here clicking, and I'm like, well, that shape looks like that shape, and it's like no match found, and I'm like, really, those shapes are identical. So like,
I think it's mostly the color.
Yeah, like usually, like it starts out with like just the color.
Huh. Well, how about that shit?
But yeah, we could totally do like E3. Let's get it.
E3.
Yeah.
E3 was a thing that happened. It happened during most of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of E3, what games are you guys like? So, what are your most breathlessly anticipated games? Like, what are your like? Oh God, I need this right now. Please put this straight into my veins. Like, what are those?
You mean other than Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild too?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I need to play with Banjo because I'm pretty sure that's my new main.
I am also pretty sure that's your new main.
I need to play Chris Tales, like more Chris Tales. Wait, no, I have a list. Fuck, but tiles. Okay, hold on. Sending the tiles.
You made a list, but then you forgot?
No, I have a list. It's in my drive, because that's where I keep my notes.
You keep notes.
Yes.
Ew.
Ooh, Songs of Conquest. I need that shit right now. I signed up for their mailing list so I can get in that alpha. I need to fuck with Shenmue 3. I want to fuck with Midnight Ghost Hunt. I do want to mess with Telling Lies, Genesis Noir. I would like to, maybe take Paraspor out for dinner. I need Grifflin's in my house. I'm perfectly cool just watching it scroll through its Instagram feed. I would like to give Unexplored 2 a massage. I do want to fool around with Mosaic and Starmancer. And Val Ferris and Spiritfarer can have my number if they want it. I do want to know more about Watch Dogs Legion. And I absolutely need fucking Fall Guys. And, of course, I want to mess with Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo. I gotta know what Elden Ring is about. And I want Tales of Arise right now, along with the Trials of Mana remake. And Cyberpunk 2077 looks pretty cool, especially since Keanu's in it now.
Now that you know Keanu's in it.
Yeah, 100% confirmed. I definitely felt Hideo Kojima when he tweeted out the day of the Square Enix conference. It's like, damn, E3 looks so much fun. I want to go. And I was like, yeah, me too, man. Whew. But yeah.
Yeah, it's, I feel like Kojima should have just gone. He absolutely should have just gone.
Hmm.
I mean,
Just shown up, like, what up?
What up? I'm Kojima.
You got questions? Yeah, me too, bud. Me fucking too.
I mean, his company is not owned by Sony.
No.
He's working with them on exclusive, but I'm sure that he could go and still write that shit off and be like, yeah, I'm doing business for the next game. In the next game, there's there's a dog, and there's another dog inside of it, and the sun collapses in on itself, and there's leaves that fall up, and fuck it, I don't know, I'm writing this whole trip off.
You know what? I'm into it.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Kojima, I'll play that game. I don't know what it is, and I'll play it.
But his whole Twitter, during E3, definitely read, kids staring out the window while it's raining who wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
Can I play outside too, please?
Yeah. So Tegan, what are the games that you saw that just,
You mean other than Legend of Zelda? You mean other than Legend of Zelda, right?
No, Tegan, if that's what you've got, if that's what you came out of E3 with, then...
Legend of Zelda! Let me have it! Let's see, what else? I know there are other games that I'm interested in, but, the Zelda brain is strong. I still want to play Astral Chain.
True.
I still want to play Animal Crossing New Leaf. I'm really, really interested, and I hate to say this, in Minecraft Dungeons. And I hate that I'm interested in Minecraft Dungeons.
Why is that?
Because it's Minecraft.
Are you bothered by the brand?
I'm bothered by how basic I am. That's what bothers me more than the brand. Does that make sense?
I get that. You gotta find some weird shit that you're into.
Because being bothered by being basic is probably the most basic thing of all.
Well, I mean, I already know I'm a basic shady bitch, and, I'm comfortable with that because I can just be like, I wanna play the Zelda game, and that's the only game I wanna play. But it's not the only game I wanna play. It's just the game that, boils my tea, you know?
I can respect that.
Is it Horizons or New Horizons? I'm blanking.
It's New Horizons.
New Horizons.
Okay.
New Horizons. You can decorate everything.
It's true.
Everything.
People are losing their shit over the whole Rossetti thing.
Yeah, that's because he lost his job.
Yeah,
he
man.
Works hard. He's got a family to feed.
Press F for respects, man. Shit.
But, honestly, he should go home and spend some time with his family. He's earned the time off. God. Let him be at home. Jeez. People are rude.
That does work too much.
He's been on that Rossetti line 24/7 for the last billion years. Let him go home.
Yeah, he needs a break.
Let him be with his family. Fuck. Rude. People are rude. Maybe he'll come visit if you have the Mr. Rossetti amiibo.
Fuck, I don't.
I
Whatever.
do.
I'll borrow one, I guess.
Let's see. What else am I really into? The other games I'm into don't have dates or anything yet, and that's the part that's, annoying. Oh, I'm into Oninaki. I want that. That's a thing I want for sure. I want, I'm very interested in, Ghostwire Tokyo, which is not a game I thought I'd be interested in because I don't like them spooks. I don't like them spooks. Not into them spooks. Into that game. Very into that game. And other than that, it's Watch Dogs Legions I'm interested in. I know I won't purchase it, but I know that because I know Alex will purchase it, which makes me not purchasing it very easy. Because I'm still going to get to see the game, so I don't know. Roller Champions and Gods and Monsters, I think, are the last two games I'm super into.
Dude, I am actually very excited, not necessarily to play Roller Champions, but to see the Roller Champion streamers.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. How about you, Brian?
It feels like there was a lot of stuff I was excited about, and it was kind of distributed weirdly, if that makes any sense, because it's not it was either feast or famine with press conferences this year.
It really was.
There were a lot of press conferences that I watched where I was just okay, I guess this is what you're doing. And sure, a few things came out of those, and that'd probably be the easiest place to start. It feels there was mostly nothing, almost nothing, at the EA press conference. The EA press conference was absolutely dead. I don't care about the sports games. I do not need to care about how they do or do not talk about Ultimate Teams. But the Jedi game, Jedi Fallen Order, looks really good. And the more they dug into it and the more that we heard about the game over the course of the week and saw some extended gameplay and then started reading some early observations from writers, made the game sound even more appealing. So apparently the game is going to, for the most part, take place on a single planet, a single landmass, and that the way that the whole environment links together is very Metroidvania, Dark Souls. lots of wandering back and forth and unlocking new areas, and as you hone your powers, gaining access to areas that you might not have had access to before. So, like, that sounds appealing. And the way they were talking about making mobility feel fun, like running around should be fun in the game as well as combat, and that sounds appealing. So, like, that was one of the only things from the EA conference that I cared about. They also showed Rust Heart, that action RPG about the boy and his robot, which has my number. But that's about it. I mean, we already knew about Sea of Solitude. Like, that's old news. But as far as, like, shit they really were showing for the first time, Jedi Fallen Order and Rust Heart were about fucking it. Like, there was nothing else there. So, like, famine. Bethesda, like, I feel like what made me care about the new Doom Eternal, was the stuff I was reading later in the week from people who actually had hands-on time with it.
Okay.
Like, they've created new feedback loops for, like, various combat interactions, which sounds really interesting. Like, you know, do this thing to get your health back, do this thing to get armor, do this thing to get ammo, do this thing to build up meter for an AoE device. And how all of those different loops interact with each other, kind of like forcing you to not ever stop and, like, try a variety of different combat. That sounds really interesting. And, like, yeah, like, Ghostwire Tokyo definitely has my number. Definitely has my number. But for the most part, you know, the Bethesda conference was a belly flop. You know, from what I'm hearing is that, like, Wolfenstein is fun, and that it has this, like, amazing tongue-in-cheek sense of humor, and it's a really fun thing for two people to do together. Apparently the co-op is great, but the way it was shown didn't really convey what people were writing about later in the week, like, once people got their hands on it. So I don't know what the deal is there, because apparently Bethesda had more games that actually showed well, but they didn't just present them terribly well. Like, if Doom is great, I'm in. If Wolfenstein is great and doesn't kill dogs in the first 5 minutes, I'm in. You know, Time Loop, great. Ghostwire Tokyo, great. But, like, they spent so much time at that conference, like, talking about, like, shit I could care less about, you know? Like, I'm not going to play your Elder Scrolls card game, guys. I'm sorry, I'm just not. This is the 900th time we've had this conversation. You haven't convinced me. It's not going to happen. The Ubisoft show, like, I think might as well have just been, like, the Watchdog Legion show. I'm not all the way there yet with this roller derby thing.
I just think it looks like fun.
Yeah, but I guess it's going to depend. Like, I will definitely keep on. I will follow it. I will stay interested. But Watch Dogs Legion is the first new game from Clint Hawking in years, and they're just turning him loose with an existing franchise, and he's going to do some wild shit with it. That's really exciting. Roller derby thing feels like them trying to find a way to get a free-to-play thing on the market. Like, they didn't talk price on that roller derby game. They didn't talk about whether it was going to be a retail offering or a free-to-play offering. But did anybody watch the presentation on the roller derby and go, like, this feels like free-to-play with, like, cosmetic loot boxes?
You mean there was, like, a secondary presentation for it? You're talking about the original, like, announcement for, like...
Well, when they showed some gameplay on the Ubisoft stream later.
I didn't watch the stream.
Okay.
I didn't watch the stream either.
Okay. It really feels like with the costume customization stuff that they were showing, that like where they're going with that game is that no one is going to pay for that game, but then everybody is going to buy a bunch of blind boxes, which doesn't particularly feel like a modern Ubisoft move. It feels more like an EA or Activision move. So I will remain guardedly optimistic and hope that the feedback that they get from their quote alpha pushes them in a retail direction instead of like a free-to-play direction. You know, Gods and Monsters looks like that particular Assassin's Creed team just getting to lean full tilt boogie into their Zelda fantasies, so I'm here for it. But like for me, the Ubisoft show was more marked by stuff that wasn't there than stuff that was there. Like, where was New Splinter Cell? Where was Skull and Bones? Where was Beyond Good and Evil 2? Like, those are some pretty marquee titles that felt like they were missing. Square Enix. I don't think there was anything that Square Enix really showed that. They showed a lot of good stuff and a lot of stuff that like I'm likely going to buy, but I don't think they showed anything that's going to keep me up at night thinking about, you know? Like, I'm not going to have a night where I'm like sitting there staring, you know, eyes open and staring at my ceiling going like, man, you know, like that game's going to be fucking rad. Like, there wasn't any like keep me up at night awesome looking games at Square Enix.
Well, like, Tifa has been haunting me for the past couple of days, especially because, you know, love Tifa. And also, like, she looks a bit more, like, built than she's appeared to be in different, like, iterations, which is kind of cool. Although, like, the fan art community, which I've seen a lot of, seems to be fluctuating between, like, her height of, like, 5'4" and, like, somewhere around, like, 5'10", 6 foot, which is kind of wild for me. And now I'm, like, thinking about Tifa as a giant woman, even though she's totally not. It's weird. I don't know.
Giant woman.
Giant woman Tifa Lockhart. Are you in or are you in?
All I want to do is see her turn into a giant woman.
Yeah. It's the dream.
Tegan, if you want that, I can send you some links.
I don't need links. I do not need links.
But yeah, like I was saying, like there was a lot of stuff in that show that felt good. You know, like the Trials of Mana remake looks good. You know, like I'm interested. I feel like I would likely dip into that. But there was nothing that like set me on fire. It was like, oh shit, I need to go find a man on the street, grab him by his lapels and go, have you seen this game? I did not see that. I did see a pretty healthy portion of that at both Microsoft and Nintendo shows. Like, games that I definitely was possessed by. Like, Spiritfarer is...
Yeah!
You know, has got its hooks into me. Like, the whole notion of, like, this game where you're kind of operating the boat to the afterlife and... like, oh god, like, that seems so cool. That seems so cool. 12 minutes. Like, everything about 12 minutes seems interesting to me. Like, even the fucking camera angle they've selected for the game is a hook for that game. Like 12 minutes just seems really, really fucking cool. Outer Worlds, not to be confused with the Outer Wilds, which I'm currently playing.
Yep.
But Outer Worlds has definitely got a hold of me. Of course, like Cyberpunk 2077, absolutely looks phenomenal, and I can't wait to like dig into that big time. Gears 5, like everything that they showed over the course of like 3 days from the game looks fantastic. Dying Light 2, like the more I heard about Dying Light 2, like the more I was like, oh man, this is gonna be one of those like we're gonna be talking about this game for a while games. Apparently there's so many different quest lines that open and close based on like player choices throughout the game that it's the maximum number of quests that you can potentially have open during any given playthrough of Dying Light 2 is 50% of quests. That is the most number of quests and like stories that you'll see on any given playthrough. The most, because of how many different divergent paths there are and how many things open and close based on your choices. The average player will see somewhere between 20 and 30% based on choices, and up to 50% on a single playthrough, because there's so many different places where it diverges. And that much like bespoke, well-written storytelling sounds really attractive. I need to hear more about the Elden Ring. Wasteland 3, I'm definitely going to jump into as well. Big, huge CRPG. Psychonauts 2. Like,
oh god, Psychonauts 2.
Yup. That looks like a, an auto play, like must get in there. Like, so there was a ton of stuff for that show, and then like Nintendo's show, absolutely
full.
Yep, chock full. Like,
so much food. Thank you for it.
Astral Chain, in a big, big way. I'm a big sucker for Luigi's Mansion. So this is a lot more attractive than like a remake of the first one on the 3DS. Just like giving me some new ass Luigi's Mansion sounds like a good time. The feature set of this game looks fantastic. Obviously, like Super Mario Maker 2, hey guys, fuck, like we weren't doing this podcast when the first one of those came out. Like, I don't think you know how deep I go on Super Mario Maker.
How deep do you go?
Oh, I'm going to have a shovel, and I'm going to dig on my way to fucking Saturn. It's going to be incredible.
How many warp pipes down?
Oh, God. All the warp pipes.
Just warp pipes all the way down?
You know that level of Super Mario World and the special world, Tubular? It's going to be that.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be fucking Tubular. Animal Crossing is definitely my shit. I'm also, and this is going to sound like a weird one.
It's all weird. It's okay.
I think I'm really into Empire of Sin.
Really?
Yeah, because like I followed, more about the game beyond the presentation and found out where it's coming from. Romero Games, which is the husband and wife team of John and Brenda Romero. And so, like, that's really exciting to me. Like, oh, like, and this is apparently the game that, like, Brenda Romero has always wanted to make. And so, like, whenever I hear about people finally getting to make their passion projects and finally getting to do them exactly as they wanted, that's intriguing to me. And it is, in fact, an XCOM style game, and also a management sim style game with some pretty deep RPG choices as well. So, like, that sounds really cool. That sounds really interesting. And, like, Zelda Link's Awakening scratches some deep itch. Like, it just... The look of that game is absolutely fucking perfect. So, like, I feel like E3 left me plenty buoyant and excited for the prospect of stuff to come. I definitely also felt like it was pretty obviously the year before new consoles came out at this show,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you could definitely feel even like third parties holding back because they have resources at this point which are allocated to machines that they can't talk about, and games that are going to be, holiday 2020 titles they can't talk about yet because that would mean talking about machines that haven't been
announced yet, right?
Yeah, exactly. There was even a little bit of that, not much. This week, Nintendo started ramping up production for building Switches in the United States. Previously they had been building all of the Switches in China, and so things got leaked out of the factory where they're going to be building these Switches in the US. There are 2 new SKUs being ramped up at this facility. Like they're building the 2 new SKUs, and it's just something that Nintendo didn't want to talk about right now. They didn't want to say like, "Hey, here's the smaller, Switch for your damn kid. It'll be harder for them to break, and then here's the beefier Switch to give you the better performance." Like, it felt like hardware was holding back. I wonder if that would have been just as true if Sony had actually decided to show up. So I think that this kind of like feeds into our conversations around like best and worst presentations of the show. So guys, what would you say was the best presentation of the show, and what would you say was the worst presentation of the show?
Sony's presentation was the worst one of the show.
Tegan, throw out that answer. They weren't there, so therefore they didn't have one.
Exactly, that's why it was the worst.
Well, but Tegan, by that argument, any company that did not have a presentation at E3 had the worst presentation at E3.
Garbage tier.
Yeah,
Tony didn't say anything. Tony? Sony said nothing. Nothing at all.
No, his name's Tony now.
His name's Tony now.
So, worst presentation of E3? Best.
Capcom, I guess.
EA. Maybe?
I think EA was worse than Bethesda, because even though I didn't like a lot of what Bethesda came up with, they knew what they needed to do, and they got out there and did it.
Yeah.
And if what you're saying, what they needed to do you mean eat a lot of shit because of Fallout 76?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Exactly that. And they did.
And they were like, alright.
Because, like, I wasn't joking. If they didn't open that conference with an apology, I was going to turn it off. Like, I wasn't going to be there for it. They did. They spent, 15 minutes just like, hey, we're going to give you guys a bunch of free shit with Fallout 76, and we're going to make a new expansion so it feels like old Fallout, because it's clearly what you guys wanted the whole time, and we're sorry. Please understand.
And we definitely fucked up.
But don't worry, Battle Royale is coming as well.
Yeah.
I mean, every fucking thing's gonna have a Battle Royale now. Whatever. That's just the dystopian future we live in.
Is the argument that at this point Earth is a Battle Royale?
Earth has
always been a Battle Royale, yeah.
That's why the game system works. So it's like its art imitates life.
Okay, so Tegan.
Mm-hmm.
Worst presentation. Real answer.
EA.
Okay, so got an EA. So that's 2 EAs?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to go EA too.
Okay.
No, it's just, there's no way around it. Like, there's really none. Because, it was a case of, the Emperor has no clothes. If they don't have... If they can't get out there and be like, you know what, guys? Sports. Then it really exposes just how fragile their business model is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call them fragile. That's not the word I would use. Because, regardless of whatever we care about, EA is going to be fucking fine. Because people are going to buy those fucking sports games and Call of Duty, every fucking year. Not Call of Duty. Battlefront? Battlefront. Yeah.
Well, there is that new Jedi game.
Yeah.
But they didn't do... I don't think they did the best job of showing it, on their stage.
No, not at all.
Which is really too bad. Because it looks like it might be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But they just, if I'm gonna use a sports term, they completely fumbled it. That's a sports word.
That's a good one.
Yep. With the battlefield numbers getting softer, and at this point they're selling less Battlefield.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a dick. Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely flaccid.
There we go. Rocky made a more blatant dick reference.
And at this point, they're also over halfway through their 10-year exclusivity deal for Star Wars. I don't think that they are a studio that could sustain itself if they lost the sports licenses. If all of a sudden somebody else showed up with a much larger check and said, "Hello, Mr. Football, we would like your exclusive football license." Or, "Hello, Mr. FIFA, we would like your exclusive FIFA license." I think that would leave EA pretty squarely fucked. Like, looking at their financials, like, no shit, over 40% of their console revenue came from not just sales of FIFA, but FIFA microtransactions last year. 40%! If they lost FIFA, that would represent a over 40% dip in revenue.
I like how you just went, well, according to their financials, 40% of the revenue came from FIFA. You sound like a very disappointed accountant.
Taken in this future, we're all disappointed accountants.
Oh.
Yep.
I apologize in advance to all of my clients because I can't number very well.
Damn. Rip.
Yeah. So it just... And I feel like that thinness was reflected in their presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was weird they put Joseph Ferris on screen and he didn't even have a game to show yet. He's just like, "Hey guys, I'm making a game.
Bye.
I guess I'll show it eventually once it's a game."
Well, like, Ferris is, like, running a really good studio, and A Way Out was really good, but I think the thing that they wanted to milk there was Ferris's personality, which is, like, a good bet, if we're being honest.
Yep.
I actually feel like Nintendo had the best show. Ironically, they may have actually shown the least amount of stuff, but I think Nintendo actually had the best show. But this is the weird part. I think they were the only, like, non-live show outside of, like, Devolver that, like, ran during E3.
You are correct.
Like, I don't... Maybe, like, Devolver's right and, like, live shows are, like, not the wave anymore.
I feel like live shows have a certain amount of pizzazz to them, and by doing a recorded show, you can make sure it goes exactly the way you want, that every shot at every angle gives you, like, the most bang for your buck. But I think it's more fair to the executives of Nintendo to do a recorded show, just because that way everyone is at their best and their brightest, because they don't have to worry about that 12 to 13 hour time difference.
Okay. Square Enix is a Japanese company.
Yeah.
And they did just fine.
They also were like, "Hey, look at Final Fantasy VII," and everyone fucking lost their shit. Like, they were done at that point. They could have left at that point and been really fine.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, if the argument is that, like, a strength of presentation will carry the material. I'm
just saying it's more fair. I'm not saying it's the best for everything. I just think it's more fair.
Like,
for them.
Also, these are companies. We're not aiming for fair. Like, companies don't get to deserve sympathy.
Brian's so mean.
And individual people do, and so I obviously do sympathize with some guy who's got to climb on a plane to get, like, 12 to 13 hours of jet lag. That's got to suck.
And then go home, like, 3 days later.
Yeah, but that's also a fucking job. And if this person's pulling in 6 to 7 figures, then it's really more than acceptable to expect them to be able to do this. And also, like, looking at stages, there weren't a lot of C-level executives on stages, with the exception of Microsoft and Ubisoft. Microsoft and Ubisoft put C-level executives on stages with some regularity. But for the most part, most of the other presenting at the other shows was not done by C-level executives. And we know that, like, Nintendo doesn't even put a lot of C-level executives in their presentation anymore.
Right.
Like, the only C-level executive that was in the presentation
was
Doug Bowser. And Doug Bowser doesn't even have any time difference for travel. And also, like, Doug Bowser was in fucking LA for the show. He was taking meetings. So, like, is there any reason we can't put him on a stage if he's already in fucking town?
Do you think it would have been better if Nintendo had done a stage show?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, they had a phenomenally strong lineup that would have shown incredibly well. And I think that in contrast to last year, where they were talking about, like, differences in animation and differences in voice recordings and so on, what they showed this year would have brought the goddamn roof down if they had showed it in front of people.
They wouldn't have been able to do their cute little, like, thing with Bowser at the beginning.
You bring out a guy in a fucking suit, and then it becomes even more adorable.
I disagree. I think it would have been worse.
Yeah,
if it was like
it would have been worse if it was a dude in a suit, because the dude in the suit, doesn't matter how, like, good the suit is, it's not going to articulate the same way that the CG model does.
Then you cut to a video for that. Just that.
I guess what I'm saying is that, like, I feel like the crowd is a bad barometer to like represent how excited I should be about a game. Like, I feel like me watching the direct, I felt more, I don't know, honest about how I was reacting to it, rather than, like, filtering it through, like, the crowd reaction of a game at a live show.
Okay, so 2 thoughts on that. One,
sure.
One of the things that Tegan mentioned as a benefit of the idea of a pre-recorded show is an ability for a company to more control the presentation and more control the experience for the viewer. Like, the idea that, like, because they don't have to worry about how a crowd is going to react to something, they're able to boil the presentation down to, like, exactly what they want it to look like. Which means that, like, they are addressing you, the viewer, directly without any kind of intercessor, without any kind of filter. You know, there's not a immediate pundit who's watching the show and talking over it and giving you his impressions. There's not a crowd which is excited or indifferent.
There aren't 9 different people trying to make sure they have the right camera angle and flipping your view 30 times.
There is something which has been worked on and polished on. Like, something that, a thing that jumps out at me is something that Reggie said in an interview with Waypoint last year when he sat down with Austin Walker. He said that they start working on the E3 Direct in February. That 30-ish minute presentation, they start figuring that shit out and determining, like, how long each game is going to be in and what it's going to look like and what are the gags and what we're going to show. They start figuring that out in February.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Right. And
that
so,
actually
like,
seems kind of late for me.
And so, like, it's one of those things where, like, if we're talking about, like, the idea that it has some kind of, like, ability to give you, like, a superior access to your own observation because your observations aren't necessarily being filtered through other observers. I think that, like, it's true that your observations aren't being filtered through other observers, but I don't think the experience is necessarily superior because they are trying to absolutely trying to figure out the most efficient way to punch your buttons, and they are trying to calculate ways to punch your buttons that don't necessarily require you to become excited as a result of like the reactions of other people. They want you to it is please be excite, but they don't necessarily need to like rely on the reactions of others to be the wave that like lifts your boat. Like they're coming for you, Rocky. They're coming for you, and they've been thinking about it for months.
I understand that live shows, because of their volatility, may have a higher bar to impress people. I guess what I'm asking is that if they manage to, I guess, impress you through the filter of a live show, or if the effort that goes into a good live show, is that a more valuable experience as a consumer taking in the product?
I guess it's kind of those, like, this feeds into the last thing on this list of like topics here today, which is the future of E3. It's more of a, if we're not doing live conferences, what's even the point?
I mean, the point becomes just the expo part, which is, like, actual people getting actually hands-on with the actual games.
Right. And there are plenty of consumer-focused shows which actually offer consumer programming as part of their design, because they were designed ground up for customers and not retailers and not writers and not distributors and not wholesalers. Like, if you go to PAX, there are going to be costume contests, panels, and events galore, which are designed for you, the fan. PAX is designed as a fan convention. And there are plenty of fan conventions. E3 is designed at its core as a convention for the industry to do industry business. And then when they realized that attendance was dropping year over year as a result of companies pulling out of the show, they then flipped a switch and said, okay, well, what if I start letting the public in and charge them like $250 a pop to get in here? But we didn't add any kind of like programming for these folks to go to while they're here. Like, the experience of going to E3 is, please stand in line for 4 hours to play Link's Awakening, which you will then play on a 15-minute timer, and then go play something else that you stand in line for 4 hours for. The only way you get to play more than 2 games a day, really, at E3, is if you go find, like, the dirt worst booth and find the game that nobody has any interest in, and you're like, well, nobody wants to play this, so maybe I've got a shot at playing it with less than a 4-hour turnaround time. And the problem is that the lines actually got worse, even though the attendance went down, because as attendance went down, the various exhibitors to the show brought less demo machines. Like, this year, Nintendo had considerably fewer demo kiosks, because they did all these really cool, like, 3D Link's Awakening dioramas around the booth. That all photographed really, really beautifully. But there were less demo machines. Microsoft had less demo machines. Everybody who brought kiosks to play games on brought fewer kiosks. And anybody who was, industry that needed to play a game was playing games in private appointments, generally off-site. Like at some hotel or some place outside of the conference center, where it's like, oh, okay, come to this hotel suite that we've rented out for the press. We've got machines set up, and you can spend your 30 minutes with Watch Dogs Legion. So, like, the linchpin of E3 has always been the conferences. And we know that Nintendo as a company hasn't discarded the idea of the value of a live presentation altogether. When the time came to lay out the case for the introduction of the Switch, that first major Switch presentation, which was done live from Japan, was a live show. There were people on fucking stages. A guy came out to talk about Splatoon 2, carrying an ink gun and acting like a crazy fool. It was a show anchored by live presentations. They put Bill Trennan's ass on a plane and sent him there to live translate for the English-speaking audience. And it was a good show. And I'm just saying, directs are all good, and I think that directs are part of Nintendo's brand at this point. And I think that Nintendo should embrace doing directs the whole year round. But I think that this one time a year, they should embrace the traditional stage show format that they got scared off of by fucking the Rafi drums incident. Just go ahead. Give us the live show. It would have killed this year. If you had put that presentation in front of a crowd, people would have thought the building was on fire. They would have gotten to that one more thing, and somebody would have called the goddamn police.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. They could have spent the exact amount of time. They probably would have spent more time, honestly, but they could have spent the same 4 months crafting a live show and putting it on stage, and it probably would have killed, but why accept that risk? Why would Nintendo have to do that
then
at all?
Don't go.
Okay.
Then don't go. Because Nintendo already has ways of interacting with their audience. They've got this fucking bus they're sending around the country in order to get customer engagement with their products and to build awareness of their product. Come to this fucking bus and play a bunch of games which are not out yet. They're doing pop-up events. They have locations you can go to. There's a fucking Pokemon store in New York. There are ways to engage with your audience. And so, planning a presentation around pressing play on a VCR while everybody else is standing on a stage sounds weird. And I want to emphasize, I think that the presentation itself was absolutely fucking excellent. Mm-hmm. I think that the beat for beat, they showed a bunch of absolutely great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. But I think in a year where Sony didn't even bother to fucking show up, Nintendo could have drank deep of Sony's tears and made themselves look fantastic by really being able to showcase how excited the entire goddamn world was for their presentation. I'm just saying that, if the idea is don't do a live presentation because they're risk averse, if that's the case, then there's no reason to time a video presentation around this conference.
I guess what I'm saying is that, it's even if they're not risk averse, I don't see a benefit that they're losing out on by pressing play on the presentation during this conference. Maybe they are losing something and I'm just misunderstanding. I'm just saying I don't know what it is. I don't know what they didn't get doing a direct that they could have gotten with a live presentation.
I think that humans naturally look to other humans as a way to validate their reactions. People like to look at other people and say, are the things I'm thinking and feeling correct? Mm-hmm. Because nothing terrifies humans more than the prospect of being wrong.
Well, at that point, you just watch someone react to the direct. You watch a Twitch streamer or whatever. If you need another human to gauge your own reaction, you watch somebody who's also watching the thing that you're watching.
Okay. So let's say you're the kind of person who has bothered to make the time to watch all of the E3 presentations.
Mm-hmm. You mean like us?
Right. And a whole bunch of other people who get really excited for E3. Mm-hmm. It's a time of year where people who love video games pay more attention to video games, and it's also a time of year where people who love video games who might have been stepping away from it for a while fly close to the sun and say, Earth's yellow sun, please restore me. Please reawaken my passion in this industry and this hobby. Mm-hmm. And if you watch all them fucking shows, the one show where you don't just get to hear a whole bunch of people reacting this year is Nintendo.
Right.
Every other show, you have the benefit of while you're watching the show, getting that organic reaction from a crowd. Now, if you're like, and very few people are going to, like, while they're already dumping all of this time into watching the conferences, unless they have decided to, from the first part, like, from the jump, be like, oh, well, you know, when I watch the Nintendo show, I'm going to watch some streamer who's restreaming the show on his channel with his reactions. I don't think somebody's going to watch the show and then immediately, as soon as they're done watching the show raw, so that way they can hear everything, go like, well, now I need to know how to feel, and then go watch something else. Like, this is just more of like a innate, organic human thing. Like, people aren't consciously deciding that they need to have their feelings validated. It's a subconscious human activity. It's something that people do without making like a deliberate effort of it. Like, people don't go out shopping for their feelings as an intentional choice. It's something that happens more of a byproduct. It's why people like going to see movies in movie theaters. You know, when people are laughing around them or screaming around them or carrying on around them, it helps to validate the experience and the reactions they're having to the movie. You know, like, it's why going to a live sporting event, you know, it is as satisfying as it is. Like, sure, I enjoy watching, say, wrestling on television, but going to a live wrestling show is always going to be better because of the way a single viewer interacts with other viewers. Shared emotional response is something which humans naturally crave. And there are situations this year where shared emotional response didn't necessarily help the presenter. Big shout outs to EA. But this is a place where shared emotional response would have made them far and away, heads and above, clearly the presentation of the show. Like, just period. Just emphatic fucking period.
Okay. Then who did Nintendo lose to because they didn't do a live show?
Microsoft.
Okay. Walk me through that.
What do you mean walk you through it? I just did.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I must have missed it.
Yeah, I said that, like, and it's one of those things where it's a photo finish. Like, they both had absolutely phenomenal shows, fantastic shows, but when you're letting people see, you know what, and it might even be Square Enix, because the crowd, with only like one or two possible exceptions during the Square Enix show, the Square Enix crowd was super hot. They were molten lava for that fucking show.
They were definitely very excited.
What's that?
They were definitely very excited.
Very excited. And the excitement that the Square Enix crowd had lifted the presentation. Because there was stuff that they showed which, like, became AAA titles as a result of audience excitement. Like, that Trials of Mana remake was a B project before that show. But you put it in front of a room and let that room light on fire, and that causes a bunch of journalists to devote a bunch of copy to that game the next day, it elevates the title. And it just, Nintendo's show was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I think that in a year where it was overall a weaker field because Sony wasn't even there, and a lot of people who did bother to show up had piss poor shows and anemic audiences, looking at you, Ubisoft, they could have far and away won by doing it in front of a fucking crowd. What a stress. I think their show was great. This is not like last year, where I was like, what the fuck is this? I think the show was great.
No, I think we got that.
I'm not fighting you on that at all.
Yeah, no one's fighting you on that. No one's saying that you didn't think their show was good.
Yeah. I just think they could have got more bang for their buck.
I just like being able to hear the entire presentation.
Also, and maybe I'm spacing on this, I'm not sure why, but I think the Trials of Mana remake was actually at Nintendo's show.
You're thinking the Secret of Mana collection?
The Trials of Mana was also at Nintendo show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The unveil was at the Squeenix show.
No, it wasn't.
Right?
No, it was at the Nintendo show. It wasn't at the Squeenix show. You're wrong.
Squeenix did Romancing Saga 3. They did Saga Scarlet Grace.
Okay.
Yep. They didn't do Trials of Mana.
What was
Trials
it that,
of Mana
like...
was
Oh, it
exclusively
was the...
Nintendo.
It was the Romancing Saga thing that the crowd, like...
Yeah, they
lost
really
its
popped
shit
Yeah.
for. And it's like, oh my god, crowd, you're losing your shit for Romancing Saga? Damn.
I think that did actually become like a AAA game on stage.
Right. So, I mean, guys, like, it's apparent that, like, you're not with me on this one. You don't have to be. I don't have to be with you. It's just how I feel.
I feel you. I'm just trying to understand, man.
Oh.
All right, hold on. So we did worst presentations, but we have a bullet point that says presentation in most need of improvement. And are we talking specifically like on the aesthetic of the presentation and not what they actually brought to the show?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And I think there was something that Tegan...
Yeah.
She was the one who I think wanted this specifically to be part of our
I did.
conversation today.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think the presentation in most need of specific improvements this year was Bethesda's. Not because of, like, the content that they had, but because, like, there were some people in the audience that felt like they were most definitely plants, and that's shitty. Like, nobody was that excited. There's no way anyone was that excited. And, like, I feel like not having someone screaming at literally every tiny announcement that was coming out, when obviously, like, the people in that room were like, Bethesda, you have to prove yourself here, would have been a better look than having, like, 5 hype men who were both trashed on alcohol and being paid.
I still kind of want that gig. That sounds like a good time.
I mean, you can have that gig, that's fine. But, like, it's not a good look. You
That's
know?
True. Yeah.
It reeks of desperation.
Well, they
but
were
not-
desperate.
Yes, but it's not it's not the same. It's
Like, they weren't hungry, it was just, like, sad.
Right, it was just sad. It was just a walk of shame.
I feel like if there's someone that, like, needed more, like, improvement, like, I guess, on their actual presentation, I think I would point to Ubisoft. Because, like, Ubisoft, they showed some new stuff. I know that's true. But a lot of their stuff was, like, you know, like, up tweaks and fixes, very much like Nintendo's presentation. Because, like in Nintendo's presentation, they didn't actually talk about a lot of new stuff that was coming out, like new games, new properties, or whatever. They mostly just saying, hey, we're going to add this to this. We're going to add this to this. We're going to add this to this. And you guys are going to love that. And we're like, yeah, we totally are. And, like, I feel like Ubisoft was in a very similar place, but their presentation wasn't, I don't know, maybe it wasn't cooked well enough.
I think it was more the timing. Like, there wasn't a lot of build-up. There was, like, a lot of flash and then a lot of tiny simmering and then another flash. And that's not quite what they needed. They needed more, like, they needed to ramp up to something instead of having, like, big things that people were excited for spread out.
I think that's a good call out, Tegan. And Rocky, I think that specifically pointing out Ubisoft is also very right, because looking at this topic, I was torn as to whether to say Bethesda or Ubisoft, because it has to be one of the two of them. The reason I think Bethesda is because after the show is over, everything I read about Doom and everything I read about Wolfenstein make them sound like games I want to play, and that didn't come across on stage at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I even played fucking Doom in 2016 and liked it. So the fact that they like weren't able to like convey adequately from stage that it was good or even going to be great is a bummer. And oh my god, the Bethesda crowd. Like, the Bethesda crowd is like the opposite of a good organic crowd reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You look at like the Square Enix and Microsoft crowds where people were like losing their shit and you could tell they were inside of their feelings. At the fucking Bethesda show, the only thing that crowd was into was their cups. They were like, there was a lot of Bahama Mamas at that show. A lot. And there was one dude who, anytime they said anything about Elder Scrolls Online, they could have just said like, the Elder Scrolls Online is a video game. This one guy, and I'm sure that Tegan could pick out the sound of that guy, like, he had the hardest and biggest woos. Like,
he did. They were the woos of a woman, of a girl at college who's just broken up with her boyfriend, and all her drunk friends have been hyping her up in the bathroom.
Yep.
She isn't going to be leaving with anybody tonight.
Oh, God.
Rip.
Yeah, big rip. Oof.
And the Ubisoft show, like...
Ubisoft?
The Ubisoft show, they did focus on like a lot on ongoing support for their games, but in the last few years where that has been a big focus of the show, it's felt like there's been a lot more flash and a lot more interesting stuff that they were bringing to existing titles, where this year it was more like, we got this thing. Well, we're putting this thing in For Honor, whatever. And so when they showed new stuff, the audience felt tired, the audience felt bored. It was really telling when, John Bernthal came out on stage with his fucking dog. And he's like, hey, everybody, it's just me, and here's Bam Bam.
And everyone was like, Bam Bam!
Yep.
Love that dog!
And the audience woke up for the dog and then went back to sleep as soon as, like, the dog left. Like, that crowd was dead. And I think that, to, like, Rocky's point, like, structurally, there was a lot of similarities to Nintendo's show, so they should have been able to work those to their benefit, because I think back to what Ubisoft's show looked like last year, and Ubisoft had, I think I might have called them Conference of the Year last year. And just like, what the fuck, where the fuck did that go? What the fuck happened? Like, the stuff they showed poorly. The only thing they showed well was Watch Dogs Legion. Everything else, the presentation was middling. The crowd was dead. By the time they brought out the Just Dance Panda, people were like being like, I wonder if I've got time to get lunch after this before the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna say it's a tie. It's a fucking tie. Like,
I'm gonna say the presentation that needs the most work, the messaging that needs the most work, really, overall. Honestly and truly, Brian, you're gonna be mad about this. As PlayStation didn't say shit. They didn't say when we can hear from them next. They didn't say crap, and that's annoying. Are we seriously not gonna hear anything until fucking October? That's bullshit. Nobody wants a PlayStation at that point. What the fuck?
I think that your argument for PlayStation might fit under our next topic, Tegan.
Yeah?
Yeah. So if you were to hold your thoughts on that to our next topic.
Okay.
Presentation that was most in need of improvement, that's going to be Bethesda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, Bethesda.
So, where were these? Things that
Where was PlayStation? What the shit? Nothing. I don't even get to have a Call of Duty rant. Nothing. I make money doing Call of Duty rants.
Thing that I just found out, Activision didn't do business with anybody this year for co-marketing.
Oh.
Yeah, they
What the
didn't.
fuck?
Yeah, they did not do a deal with Sony. They didn't do a deal with Microsoft. Apparently, the reason that they didn't. Apparently, the reason they specifically didn't do the deal was that it's Activision's belief that having a staggered release schedule where some DLC is exclusive to one platform before being available on the other hurts the overall player base.
Duh.
Oh my god. Wait, no, but hold on. So what you're telling me is maybe Sony hasn't wanted to be there for like years? Because, you know, they've been phoning in E3 for a while. And it's just like, they're just like the Marshawn Lynch of fucking like the gaming industry, where he's just like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And it's just like, fuck. That's actually amazing. Oh god.
Wait, are we talking about Activision or are we talking about Sony here?
Sony. Like, Sony's like obligation to Activision was the real reason they kept showing up to like E3. Like, because they show like the same like God of War and like fucking Dead Rising, not Dead Rising, whatever the fuck, that Days Gone trailer for like 3 years in a row. And like, they didn't want to be there. And the only reason they were there because they signed this fucking deal with Activision. They didn't want to like be in breach of contract or whatever. So they kept showing up.
I'm really here for the idea, specifically of Marshawn Lynch as a presenter at a Sony show. I want him walking out on stage and saying, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And then they immediately cut to footage of Days Gone, and somebody stands up in the crowd and goes, hasn't that game been out for 9 months? And then somebody else shouts, yes!
And that's it.
And that's just the whole show.
Well, now you're getting into Devolver Digital territory.
Fuck. Oh, man.
Brian David Gilbert needs to be there.
Fuck. Yo, Brian David Gilbert, like, getting hired at Sony for, like, their, like, viral marketing sounds amazing. I just want to see what the fuck he ends up doing. Oh, man.
Man.
Fucking Sony.
So, stuff I was expecting to see for me, for my, you know, where were they's, Pikmin 4. Where was Pikmin 4?
Not ready yet. Not ready for 2020.
Where was Bayonetta 3?
Also not ready for 2020.
It's been in development for like 2.5 years already, though.
Yeah, but they're using a new engine.
We don't know that. We absolutely don't know that.
I mean, it's likely.
If a game's using the same engine as it's been using before, then they're just gonna release it in like 3 years. We didn't see anything for Bayonetta 3. That's because it's not ready for 2020, Brian. Well, why not? Well, probably because they're building a new engine. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Oh, fuck. Tegan's like Egoraptor now. Oh my god, that's
literally your logic. Ah!
Jesus Christ. You know what?
1 in the morning!
Never mind. Whatever.
It is 1 in the morning. I'm sorry, Teeks. Fuck.
Tired! Jesus, I'm sorry, Nico. I'm so sorry. I've upset my cat. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay. Okay, he's okay now.
Fable? Where was Fable?
Where was Fable? That's a good question. Oh, where was that sequel to Kingdoms of Amalur?
I think that's going to be a minute. That business got done like less than 6 months ago. And I'm not really sure, since like the people who own it now is THQ Nordic.
Oh, it's never got. Oh, but they're remaking that SpongeBob game. Everybody's all excited about that SpongeBob game.
I feel like we'll eventually have a THQ Nordic stage show, but if E3 is still around to support it. But there wasn't really anywhere for them to, like, there was some like limited exposure to THQ Nordic stuff that happened on, it was Google that had Darksiders Genesis.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, there didn't really feel like a place to have a lot of like THQ Nordic stuff, and like they also deliberately did announcements before E3, like the fucking SpongeBob thing. I also really feel like I didn't get, like last year. I feel like I heard the words virtual reality more. Like it was more VR, VR, VR. But I think that because Sony wasn't there, so therefore we didn't get any focus on PSVR. There wasn't really a place for VR to just be in like the common mainstream of E3 coverage.
Honestly, and this might be a bit of a take, I don't think Oculus needs E3 or Vive. Like, I think they're fine in their own ecosystems without having a presence here. Like, the Rec Room devs.
Maybe they do a VR, like, E3 later. Yeah.
That could be cool. I know Gravity, who like developed Rec Room for like the Vive, which is like e-sport, like Wii Sports, but you can like run around, I guess.
Right.
They just secured like another like 24 million funding, and like they haven't done anything public since like Rec Room.
Right.
Like, they've kind of just been hanging out. So like, I don't think they need this place for money. They don't need it for meetings. Like, they're definitely doing fine on their own. And, like, Oculus is, like, actually, like, a real sleeper. Like, if I was worried about something, like, entering the console space, I'm a lot more spooked about, like, this new, like, Oculus, like...
the Quest.
The Quest, yeah. I'm more spooked about the Quest than I am about Stadia. But that's a whole other thing.
You know, it's weird, because, like, one of the games when I kept on reading write-ups about, like, stuff that was at E3 that was really good, Oculus did have a booth, and there was a first-party Oculus game that was at the Oculus booth that showed really, really well. The name of the game was Phantom Covert Ops. The game is apparently about, like, a fucking, like, stealth dude kayaking up a river.
Alright.
And, like, doing this, like, quiet, like, covert incursion into enemy territory. Like, you can't come in with, like, ground troops, and you can't come in with a helicopter because it's too noisy. So it's, like, this one fucking dude kayaking up a river, which I thought was immediately, like, a really clever way to, like, solve, you know, some of the motion problems with, like, you know, the way people feel when they're moving in VR. If you let someone sit down and have them do kayaking motions with their hands, they're going to feel less potentially sick, and you don't have to worry as much about, like, the amount of space that they devote to it. And by all accounts, everybody's like, Phantom Covert Ops plays like fucking Metal Gear Solid in a kayak. Everybody who played it loved it. Like, man, like, is it time? Like, I've been thinking about it, Rocky. Like, the Oculus Quest is reviewing well. Apparently, the hardware is pretty powerful. You don't need to hook it up to a PC. Like, it's
just connect it to your phone like once, and you're done. Shit's crazy.
The Quest doesn't even connect to a phone.
Well, like, not like forever. Like, the first calibration,
yeah.
You need to use a phone, and then, like, after that, you can just use it standalone.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it, guys. Like, it seems like the list of software is good and getting better, and because you don't need to hook it up to, like, a PC and have to put up all those, like, clunky cameras around your living room, a lot more developers are targeting it because they know it's going to be a lot more of a attractive, like, entry point for VR.
Mm-hmm. And they're actually doing a pretty good job curating. They're, like, really aggressive with, like, what's allowed on there. I think they said, like, everything that runs on it needs to run at, like, something, like, I can't remember if it's, like, 78 frames or, like, 120, but it's much higher than 60, like, significantly so.
Yeah. So maybe that's one of the stories of E3, that like even though VR wasn't really on stage, the media coverage that it got was positive. Like, I'm here and able to name a game that I am interested in that I read about from media coverage of the show that wasn't on stage at any show, but like every reporter who sat down and played this fucking kayak game is like, this kayak game is super baller. So maybe that's something we would just want to keep our eyes on, like VR. What's up with that? Which is also the title of my other new podcast, VR. What's up with that? Very exciting. It's hosted by myself and like a knitting circle from Milwaukee. They don't know why I'm there. Our next topic is called "Gosh, You Squandered Some Goodwill."
I know Brian at least has a very strong opinion about this.
Well, it's two things really that happened during the course of E3. So CD Projekt Red had Keanu Reeves in his beautiful, luscious locks on Microsoft stage and had like a kind of organic, cool meme moment with the whole "you're breathtaking" thing. And then somebody noticed an ad that appears in World in Cyberpunk 2077 that appears to be like either for like soda or beer or something. It's like some canned beverage.
It's an energy drink.
Yeah. And I think the caption on the poster is like, "Try something different."
Mix it up, I think.
Mix it. Yeah, that's it. Mix it up. And the person depicted on the poster is clearly trans. And like all of the initial messaging that came out of CD Projekt Red was like, just whatever, we're not transphobic. Whatever, we're not transphobic.
There's a healthy amount of fetishization in there as well.
Yeah. And it took them, you know, in the context of like how long media cycles are, forever to just like get the artist who designed the poster in front of an interviewer to talk about it. And like, if anything the last year has taught us, CD Projekt Red is really not good at just talking about stuff. Individual people at CD Projekt Red may be good at talking about stuff, but like, for a company as beloved as they are, if somebody just goes to their fucking like media relations team, is like, "Hey, we have a question about this," they fuck it up on the reg. And it felt like this was on Sunday, Keanu moment. Everybody can't get enough CD Projekt Red, but by like Tuesday or Wednesday, video games was very angry at CD Projekt Red because of like the way that they were failing to like appropriately answer people's questions and address concerns with this image. Is that your beat on it as well, Rocky?
Yeah, like, I mean, to be honest, like, it's not gonna hurt like CD Projekt Red's like bottom line, but it's definitely gonna like, you know, push off people that were potentially curious about it, and they're trying to wrinkle them back with this whole like talk of like being able to make like trans and non-binary characters in the character creator, despite us not having seen the character creator at all yet. But they swear it's robust. They swear it's the best one we've ever seen. And like, I don't know. It's whack, man. And it's not going to turn me off to the entire game, which, you know, I don't feel great about. But I don't feel great about CD Projekt Red right now either. So,
The other example of this that I wanted to mention was, so Google did their Stadia presentation leading into E3, which was very clean, very glossy, had some numbers in it. And then they started like sending people from Google around the press at E3 and having press into their booth at E3, because there was a Stadia booth. And gosh, boy, did they fuck that up. Like, people are asking, like, so how does this react to Wi-Fi interference? And so what's your position on data caps? And so how do you solve for problem X and problem Y? And their reaction to just about everybody and just about all these questions was like, whatever, man, it just works. It just works. And the reaction of, like, most press who had an opportunity to try Stadia in the booth was, it doesn't just work. People, experienced, issues with, like, quality of the streaming. Google wouldn't disclose to reporters where the data center was that it was streaming from. There was some question like, how far away is your data center? Because people want to know whether or not they're getting fucking clowned and, like, the data center is across the street or in an office in the same building or something. So they wouldn't say where the data center was. They wouldn't answer questions about, like, issues and talk about, like, what the solves were for certain problems. And then when asked, well, what about data caps? Google's answer was, well, gamers will rise up. They literally answered with a meme. They were so consistently bad with their messaging and so consistently bad with the quality of impressions of media coming out of the booth, I canceled my fucking pre-order. Just, it was wild to see them go from, like, hot, glossy presentation to, like, man, I'm going to need to hear more, like, in that short an order. Like, it really seems like as soon as they sent people out into the wilderness, they were disappointing people. Were there any of these for you guys from the show? Like, people who made an initial impression, the more exposure they got to the media, the more sour you got on what was initially said.
I didn't pay that much attention to the post-show. I watched a little bit of Capcom stream for the Iceborne stuff. They didn't have a stage show. I watched some of the tree houses for, like, games I was interested in. And I didn't find a lot of stuff that I latched onto in a lot of the other shows. I did look up some stuff for the PC gaming show, subscribe to some email lists, but I didn't see any, like, coverage of them, like, on the floor. So, like, I didn't really see a lot of it.
Anything like that for you, Tegan?
I haven't gotten a chance to watch any of the post-show stuff.
Okay. All right. So for stuff that didn't happen on a stage, was there anything that, like, jumped out at you? Anything that you're like, oh, like, I care about that. So this would be stuff that was not in a press conference.
Specific to E3?
Right.
Wait, were they there? No, they weren't. Okay. I thought some of the things, like, specifically, because how Microsoft stated that they had acquired Double Fine, right?
Right.
Which means they get Psychonauts. One of the things that was interesting to me is that they got Psychonauts because they ended up taking it from Starbreeze, and Starbreeze basically needed to give that to Microsoft because they needed Microsoft money to survive through the year. I forgot if we actually talked about it or not, but there was a report, I think, at end of fiscal year when Starbreeze said that they didn't have enough money to make it through the year. Like, they just didn't. And they were letting some people go, which they have done at this point, but they still needed more money. And so, like, this is, like, the gift that will probably let them get through 2019. And also related to that acquisition, a game that I've been following, Ooblets, which is kind of somewhere between, like, Harvest Moon and Pokemon. That they're self-publishing now because they were set to be published by Double Fine, and now they're not. They were scheduled to be published after the acquisition by Microsoft would have been finished. And so it seems that they were left without a publisher, and they've decided to self-publish because I guess like they didn't find like a comparable deal, which is, you know, a little disruptive, but I want to see how that goes. I don't know how I feel about it yet. There's some other news that popped up around, but it's not quite E3 related. I guess like Square Enix saying that there's some old games that they want to like make available to like people.
Oh, this was amazing. Yeah.
And they just said like yeah, we don't know where the code is. Like we have no idea. And they didn't elaborate on which games are missing. Like, I'm sure someone will, like, publish a list later. But there's definitely some old games that Square Enix totally made that people have been asking about. And they're just like, yeah, I mean, we would, but, like, we have no idea where that shit is. And, like, that's real goofy. I mean, I'm not going to put it past Square Enix. Because, like, I'm pretty sure there's a handful of games where that's, like, super obvious that, like, were not necessarily cult classics, but, like, definitely, like, were out of like their time or whatever. And fuck, I didn't think they actually were gonna have someone who's like, yeah, we're continuing to work on it. We're like, they could just like, you know, posture or whatever, but they're just like, no, honestly, we don't know where the code is. Like, shit. Oh man, it was Matsuda. It was fucking, yeah, it was the president of Square Enix. Oh fuck, maybe they had something on him, like they know where his daughter goes to school or some bullshit. I don't know, man. Fuck. I don't know if I'd say that if I were the president of, like, the company. I don't know if I would do that, but I'm not that dude, so whatever, I guess. Oh, shit.
I'm just going to say this. When I heard that, I just wanted to get that shit put in needlepoint and say, like, this is why game preservation is important. You know, like, there are so many things in games that would be lost without preservationist. And I guarantee you that some of the shit that Square Enix can't find right now are games that have already been preserved thanks to the work of game preservationist and game archivist.
What if it hasn't? Like, maybe, like, that's because, you know, like, they would do, like, the Nintendo thing where they'd just be like, yeah, like, this is copyright infringement, we're shutting you guys down. And then they just, like, secretly take the ROMs and put them on a box somewhere. And, like, Square Enix can't do that because there's, like, certain games that are just, like, haven't been reproduced. Like, I don't know. Like, hold on. I just gotta read you this quote because, Brian, this is just such a nakedly, like goofy quote. It's from Yosuke Matsuda, who's the president and chief executive of Square Enix. And he says, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but in some cases, we don't know where the code is anymore. It's very hard to find them sometimes, because back in the day, you just made them and put them out there and you were done. You didn't think of how you were going to sell them down the road. Sometimes customers ask, why haven't you released that game yet? And the truth of the matter is, we don't know where it has gone. And I'm like, shit. Dude, really?
Perfect. Fucking perfect.
Did Riot showcase their auto chess game at E3, or am I just imagining that?
No, they did. They absolutely did.
Sick. Because that means I get to backdoor about this. The state of California has involved the courts in their investigation of Riot for systematic gender discrimination. And that's really funny to me. Because, like, Riot has definitely been ducking the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, who's been trying to figure out if there's been pay discrimination at Riot. And Riot has tried to get ahead of it by putting out a statement saying, we've given them thousands of lines of pay code and all sorts of paperwork, and like trying to make like the Department of Fair Employment and Housing like seem like overly aggressive because they're going to the courts, even though we've been totally like cooperating. When like, I don't know, man. Like it's obvious that they're ducking them, and they're kind of spooked that the courts are getting involved. They're trying to win in public opinion, and I don't think it's going to work out. I think we're going to find out that like women have been making less than like 30% of what like men make at that company, and it's not going to go well for them. But who knows, dude? We'll see. Fuck.
Wandering back to Square for a moment, there was something that like was at E3 but was not part of the Square Enix presentation because Square doesn't really talk on stage about this part of their business. Their Taito is putting out a Space Invaders collection on Nintendo Switch. And like it jumped out at me for a couple of reasons. Like, one, this collection is going to include the first ever home port of Space Cyclone. Space Cyclone has never been made available on a home console. And it'll be in this like collection on Switch. Also, ever since Square acquired Taito in 2005, and I don't know why this has been, Square has allowed Taito to like entirely operate autonomously. Like, they don't report at all through like the Square reporting structure. Like, there are no guys who work at Taito who report to guys at Square Enix until you get to the very top. And Square Enix does not maintain any kind of like veto override structure for like Taito's business, which is like really weird. And also like it kind of like is a funny highlight to like what you were saying is like on the Square Enix side of the house, Square's like, I don't know, man, we lost some shit. We don't know where these games are. Here's Taito, a division of Square Enix that is allowed to operate autonomously. He's like, we're going to put out this game that is from 1980 that has never had a home release. Good thing we had everything. Chef's kiss. Perfect. 10 out of 10.
What if like Matsuda was lying though? Like, I mean, he probably wasn't. But what if he was lying and he's just like, yeah, we haven't put out that game because like he didn't want to say that like a reporter's face because that game's fucking trash. Like, imagine he's just faking them out. It's like, oh yeah, we lost it.
Apparently, in the Square Enix booth, the areas that were displaying the Space Invaders collection were marked off separately and were labeled as Taito kiosks and had different people helping attendees. Man.
Oh, man.
It's like the Activision Blizzard story, but like at no point did somebody say, fuck it, let's just go ahead and like get in there. I don't know, but like, I guess I'll say this, like, if you're really curious as to like about our takes on like some little fucking thing that didn't make a stage show at E3, how about this? Head us up. You know where to get us, people. Like, if you're digging into our E3 bad up and cleanup show, you're the type of person who like keeps track of this. Like, get us on Facebook. Get us on Twitter. Get us on the Tumblr. Hell, even reach out to Festival on Instagram. And be like, hey, I saw this thing at E3. I'm curious about your takes on it.
Festival does have a... He's on Twitter now, so like there's that.
Did he go over to Twitter? Is that because Instagram kicked him off?
Yeah, hey. Instagram kicked him off after they shut down his personal Facebook. Because Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah.
So.
Two birds with one stone.
I heard he was fucking live streaming from inside of a bathroom, and that's why he got kicked off.
Dude, that was Dr. Disrespect, man.
Okay.
He was live streaming a lot, and I guess it was attracting the wrong crowd.
Yeah, fair. Hard body. Keep your nose clean. Well, guys, do we want to put a pin in it? I mean, I know that I wanted to talk about the future of E3. I feel like the jury's still out. It was a weird year. It was the year before new console introductions, so I have to wonder if, like, part of the even lower than usual attendance this year was, like, people pulling back and saying, like, we'll be there next year when shit's real again.
The lower attendance, it wasn't that much lower. I want to say that. Like, last year was the most people that showed up in, like, 10 years. And then this year we had 3,000 less people, and Sony wasn't there. And it's a year before, like, new console announcements. Like, I think E3 is definitely in a similar space. Maybe it becomes a more consumer-focused show in the future. But, like, that, there is some dark business that might lead into. But Tegan, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think it's going to depend on how the show next year goes. I think the console announcement show will give us a better indicator overall of how it goes.
Yeah.
Because it could just be that, like, E3 is still the biggest video gaming event of the year, but it's just not quite the same. You know?
I get that.
I feel that.
Like, maybe there are more public activities, but also, like, the press stuff where you, like, really get hands-on experiences, like, in another area. Like, entirely. Like, maybe another city. And then E3 just becomes, like, a press event, but for a public audience. I don't know.
That could be some interesting branding. See how that goes.
I would like to see it either become more like PAX or more like Gamescom / Tokyo Game Show. Both Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show have days which are specifically for the press. Like, these are press days. And the only people on the floor is press, which means the press does their business. And then once the floor opens for consumers, the focus of the show shifts to consumers, and then there starts to be like consumer-focused events. I don't think that like the way it is now, where the show is just run as a media event, but they just charge people to walk into a media event without making things that are more accessible for them and interesting things to do. I don't think that can continue.
I'd actually be interested in the ESA just straight up giving E3 to PAX to run, because PAX doesn't have like an LA presence. In fact, isn't it just like PAX West, PAX East, and PAX South? Like, and like, I mean, they have like their Seattle show, but I think that pulls a different crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's at a different time of year. Like, I think like a summer show in LA could be something that like the PAX team could actually do really well. Or the Penny Arcade team. Just call it that. Jesus.
You know, Penny Arcade doesn't even have any ownership stake in PAX anymore.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know that.
PAX is no longer an acronym. PAX just means PAX. Like, Penny Arcade is out of the PAX business. Yeah, they sold out.
Can't blame them.
But, I mean, the people who are running PAX now...
Is it like Will Wheaton or whatever?
No, it's like it's a conventions company. It's a company that does conventions.
Oh, so they really sold out. Fuck.
Yeah, no shit. But also, they don't say like weird problematic things like Gabe does from PAX from Penny Arcade.
True.
And people will have a really good time at PAX, and the shows go really well, and you don't stand in line for 4 hours to play 2 video games. Most people who go to PAX end up playing a shit ton of video games.
Mm-hmm.
And attendance is always really huge. So, like, booth design and kiosk design is obviously paramount. And there's tons of fucking events to go to there, too. So, like, the idea of, like, a E3, which is partnered with that same convention management company, is an awfully attractive idea. I would like to know that if people are going to go and like dump their whole vacation budget into going to LA to go to this show, that they do more than stand in line for 24 total hours to play 6 total games. You know, that would make me happy. Do we want to put a pin in our E3 2019 coverage and call it done? We are done with E3 2019.
Yeah, let's
think
put
we
it in
have
the dirt.
finished it. Well,
All right.
I don't think it needs to go in the dirt. But, like, I do think we're done.
All right. Well, that is it. Rocky, take us home.
All right. So my name is Rocky Hardy. I've been one of your guides into this show that we do. It's Possible Coin. We're here once a week. Don't get used to what happened this week. This week was an anomaly. I'm not sure if it'll ever happen again, but if it does...
It'll happen again next year, don't lie.
It will be too soon. There is music at the beginning of this podcast. You've probably heard it all week. It's produced by our friend Big Sach. He's a very good friend. He's a very good boy. You can find his work at soundcloud.com/Big Sach NJ. Or if you're feeling a little frisky, you could follow him on Twitter at Hillary_Swank. Our logo and t-shirt was made by an artist. Her name is Lauren Moran. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren Moran. And honestly, if you like her work, the best way you could support her is by throwing her a couple bucks on Patreon. And she deserves it. I know you'll understand. We are on social media. Brian runs our Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Tegan's on Tumblr. It's all Impossible Coin. So get at us if you want to holler at us about how you felt about E3, or even better, if you don't want to talk to us individually, if you want to, get it all done in one fell swoop, leave us a review. It could be good, it could be bad, and either way we'll understand. But if you go to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or Spotify, basically wherever you found this podcast, and leave a review there, we'd really appreciate it. iTunes more than anything else. And I think that's us. That's our show, right? I didn't miss anything, right?
I think that is it.
That's all of it. Yep.
Cool. We did it.
All right. Then peace.
Bye.
Later.
It's official.